Pour yourself a pint, cozy up, and get ready for another episode of Beer, Bros, and BS.
Hey, this is Trish Stratus, and you're listening to Beer, Bros, and BS. Keep listening because it's pretty stratifying.
Welcome to Beer Bros and BS, episode 115, your home for craft beer, pop culture, and other BS. And yes, I do not sound like the beloved Beer Bros and BS founder, Dave the Big Librarian, because today we are doing the first ever Beer Babes and BS takeover. We are Sonia, aka Beer Dolfan,
Danette,
Danii Dollars, Ellie,
Michelle Michelada, Fernandez,
Amanda.
So let's go ahead and open up our first bottle. So today I have brought Lumberjack Morning Break by Sons Brewing Co. It's actually the first bottle being released from their family membership, of which I am one. It's a bourbon barrel-aged imperial maple coffee stout, 13% ABV, and it was brewed out of their new location in Dania Beach, Florida. Ladies, cheers.
Cheers. To the inaugural.
Yes.
Smells delicious.
It smells really good. Mm. You get the hazelnuttiness.
Creamy goodness.
Coffeeness. Very good.
Smooth. Sonia, you said you
Delicious.
are a part of?
Yes. So, so one thing they did when they were about to open, they created a family membership. That's what they call it. You're a family member. You're a part of the Three Sons. Three Sons is because the main founder, Corey, has three sons, and this is like his family creation. And so the membership was available last year. I sat out in the rain for about 6 hours to get it. I ran like a crazy person across a field at a like seafood and crab.
Why'd you run?
Because there was like really good beer and people were running, so I just
It's like the
ran.
beginning of Hanapu.
Jumped in.
The Hanapu Mad Dash.
It really was. Not only is it amazing beer, but for those of you that heard episode 113, we have a very special connection to Three Sons. My husband, Beer Bros and BS member Jose, or Jose B, we actually met through Big Sexy, my friend Javi. And so one of the Three Sons beers, which we're hoping will be a release bottle, is named Big Sexy. So it's a great thing. We actually got a chance to have been there once or twice, and they officially open tomorrow, 3/20. So
Cool. Cheers to that.
yay! Way to go, Three Sons.
All right.
So this is an ultimate breakfast beer, I will say. I love this.
It's not heavy, but it still is like full bodied, if that makes sense. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has legs.
yes, it does. It does, and it's sort of like one of those beers that you could still drink on a hot day and not feel like you're going to have diabetes or something. So,
And we only have hot days. Only hotter.
Exactly,
So.
right.
I think this would taste good with ice cream. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This would make a great beer
I
float.
can think of so many things. Tiramisu, Nutella cookies.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Those like Milano cookies.
Oh.
I would
Yes.
dip it in here.
So we have our group of friends we call like malt maidens, and we're like big malt heavy lovers. I mean, of course, all beers have malts, but this in particular, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I do believe like it's good that we let it kind of breathe for a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to get it really cold and then let it breathe and get to that almost not quite hand temperature, but not freezing cold.
Yeah, because it opens up the flavor profile big time.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so I think we're giving this a thumbs up. We really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
definitely.
Delicious.
Very glad I sacrificed our first bottle. Can't wait to try the rest.
Thank you for sharing.
Y'all
We
are
appreciate your sacrifice.
Yes.
And you deserve to be family for everything you did to get that.
Aw, thank you. So, I kind of want to talk a little bit about how we sort of got interested in craft beer. I think a lot of our listeners know some of us better than others. Maybe just, know us through our connection with Beer Bros BS or know us through the beer industry. So one thing I want to talk about is kind of how we got into craft beer. So for me personally, when I started drinking craft beer, there wasn't a lot of places in Miami. I mean, we know the breweries have exploded, starting with Wynwood going on. But I had what I consider my first craft beer to be at the Abbey, probably in about 2005 or 2006. I was a big wine drinker. And then when I was playing beer pong or something stupid, I would drink whatever beer was available, let's be honest. But I had a framboise, and it rocked my world because I was like, oh my God, it tastes like a wine, but it's a beer. So that was sort of, and it, you know, over the next couple years, I dabbled, I dibbled, and then I met a good friend of mine, John Schmitz, and he was doing bottle shares, and he had been in, like, sort of in the restaurant and beer business for much longer, has amazing collections of beer, started doing bottle shares, and then more places opened up, and obviously we got breweries, and then everything exploded. So that's me. What about you, Danette?
I was going to say we miss you, John Cito.
Oh, we do miss you.
Yeah, he's all the way up in Savannah. So my entree into craft beer, I think, was on a whim. I think I was going to go meet up with actually some of the beer bros, Dan and Dave, who I was good friends with for a long time. And I went to Cervezas down in South Miami. Does everyone remember Cervezas?
Oh, yes, of course.
For some,
Not me.
well, not
I'm too
Amanda.
young. I'm just like,
I might not have been old enough to
crickets.
drink there.
Crickets. Probably not. But I'm old enough now.
Got it.
So it was for some of Stephen Finlay's karaoke nights. Yeah. And that was my first introduction to craft beer. I think I had a Delirium Tremens.
Huh?
Hence the glass.
Oh, nice. Some Ellie fonts for Ellie.
This is from Cerveza.
Oh, was it?
Quite literally.
And then I also went to brew at the zoo, the first ever brew at the zoo. And actually that was kind of fun. And then I had a monk in the trunk, I think. But the first bottle I ever bought by myself, and this is all before the Craft Beer Goonette, because some people think that that's why I got into craft beer. Negatory. Southern Tier Pumpkin, because I was super into the pumpkin beers. And that's still a really good one. Yeah.
They haven't changed the recipe, which is
Yeah.
nice.
You
Yeah.
hold the crown for sure for a lot of events.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
What about you, Danii Dollars?
So World of Beer. I've always been, so Danii Dollars is a nickname because I've always had like multiple jobs. I'm like the busiest person ever and I love it sometimes.
You're a hustler.
I guess so, yeah. And then I was working at Cadillac Ranch down the street from World of Beer Kendall, and I was on my break in between a double, and I walked by World of Beer, and there's this guy standing there. Shout out to Claude. I know you hear this podcast. And he was like sitting outside, and he was like, hey. And I was like, hi, how's it going? He's like, do you like beer? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm good. I have 20 minutes. And he's like, listen, we're opening up a concept of craft beer. Just come in. And I was like, you know what? I'm down for another job. So then I started picking that up, and then I went through beer school, and I had Fernandez for the first time, which was my introduction to beer. Woo! But then I had Omegang Abbey, and that raisin kind of, and then Omegang Three Philosophers, and that was like my kind of intro, and then from there, World of Beer in general.
Awesome. Yeah. Miss Ellie?
I have multiple entries into the craft beer world. My first craft beer was back in the 1400s. At the bar in Coral Gables, I had a Tucher, which back then seemed very exotic. Nice Hefeweizen. And then what I really consider my entree was places like Abraxas and The Room, which were really the first places that had craft beer. I too had the fantastic Lindemans Framboise. Then I went into Triple Carmelite. I went the Belgian route. And after that, I downloaded an app on the iPhone that no longer exists, and I started memorizing all the different types of beer. I got really obsessive. And then I too joined the world of beer. Worked there for almost 2 years and went through beer school as well, and it has been a love affair ever since. And I went from a Belgian lover and defected over to like pretty much everything else but Belgians. Now Belgians for me are like whatever. Then I was like, IPAs, the hoppier the better.
But I thought we were going on a Belgium trip together. You got to reinvigorate your love for it.
I will reinvigorate my love.
Oh,
for
okay.
it. But, it's like
All right.
right now it's like
situational.
IPAs and Sour Nation. It's like sours.
Love sours.
Oh, man.
It's my favorite.
So that is my
Exactly.
I was like, that's like gonna be like.
Exactly.
One is coming.
Michelada.
All right. So I have always been a beer lover. That's 100%. So growing up, I call myself a Yuca, a young urban Cuban American.
Nice.
So my family is like all about like La Llave, La Muñequita, like all of those type of beers. So like my dad was really big on always like having a cold beer ready for me whenever I came home. So I actually went to school in Cleveland, Ohio. So I went there and like you know, a lot of people that I went to school with, like, lived in Ohio or lived in Pennsylvania, and they were really big on cheap, it's college, so it's cheap natty ice, like, you know, all those awful beers.
Ooh, the Tallahassee beer of choice.
Yeah, exactly. And an upper
And green for 48 hours of St. Patrick's Day.
Jesus. Oh my God. And I mean, it's really big in Ohio, especially. They shut down, like, all of downtown, and it's the biggest festival.
I was in Bowling Green, Ohio,
you're like, hello.
2 years ago, St. Patrick's Day, and it starts the 15th and it ends the 17th.
Holy cow.
It was crazy. I was like, wait, what do you mean?
actually just turned green. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, what's going on?
It's $3 for 32 ounces of beer.
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay.
hard. I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, when I moved there, so there's an upperclassman, and he's like, hey, so he had a 6-pack of Great Lakes Dortmunder Gold. And I remember, like, I was like, wait, what is this? And I remember trying it. I was like, this is amazing. I love this. And I realized after drinking his whole 6-pack to myself, that I was the right amount of drunk that I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, man, so these people are drinking like 24 packs, you know, in developing these really big guts. And I was drinking a 6-pack and feeling exactly where I wanted to be. And at that moment, I was like, what else is out there?
The
And
power
that
of
yeah, exactly.
EVP.
It was like, what is going on? And I always
Quality.
I like to say there's always like the gateway beers and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And everyone starts like light, and then you go to Belgians, and of course you go into like the big Belgians, like triples, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize the Hefeweizen could taste so good with more alcohol. I didn't even know. And then, you know, kind of just developing all into it. So I'm kind of all over the place in terms of my flavor. I will say my Untapped is definitely Brew Horror 666 for the fact that I think that everyone,
Love it.
if there's anything to be a whore about, it's about beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But at
There's
the
no
same
shame in
time-
that.
Yeah, there's no shame.
No shame in that.
But at the same time, definitely, I feel like I mean, as much as I love a Dortmunder Gold, maybe like if I'm ever like mowing a lawn and I'm like, yes, I need something super refreshing, like this is it. But it was definitely my intro.
Nice.
That
Good.
is awesome. And I did visit that also. So we went to Cleveland for the day, and I left all my classmates behind. I'm like, oh my God, there's a brewery right there, and I'm going to go there. And I walked in, and I was like, I need beer, real beer. And they
And
gave it
it's
to me.
beautiful. The whole entire space like is
Mhm.
gorgeous. It's all like an old, like, you know, back in when it was like a Prohibition times, it was actually a brewery, but it was, like they actually
that's
have like a
cool.
basement bar where that's where they used to like smuggle, like, here, you can drink this beer. And I was like, yes, I want to drink this beer here, but don't smuggle it. It's fine. I'll pay for it.
You're good. You're good.
Amanda?
Okay, so I always thought, like, back in the day that I didn't like beer because all I ever had was, like, Heineken, Corona, crap. And I have one of my best friends, her name is Melanie. She's like, you need to try this beer. And it was Funky Buddha French Toast. And I was like, beer? Tastes like dessert?
Like food?
Like food? Like, I love food. So, that was really, you know, the first time I had a craft beer. This was, you know, way before I met Dave, the big librarian. So, yeah.
Disclaimer, I liked beer before.
Yeah. I like that beer for sure. And then, well, as, you know, he and I met, we got to hang out more. You know, I learned that he was super involved in craft beer. He loved craft beer. He showed me, you know, more and more styles. And I would tell him, no, I don't like beer. It's like, well, you haven't tried the right beer. So I really think it's all about the right beer and finding what beer you like. And now, you know, almost 2 years later, I definitely can say that I like beer.
Did you ever have a note of all the beers you liked on the side before, like, let's say, before Untapped and all that stuff? I had a note of for my friends, like, you know, Brittany likes these beers, you know, Amanda likes these beers, and I used to
Oh,
whenever we go to
remember.
the bar, I would be like,
I would text her and be like, what is that beer? What was that beer?
my Apple Notes was my loyalty. I was like, you like these, you didn't like this one, yeah.
I'm like, I know they like Hefeweizens. Maybe they might like, you know, this one. Yeah. I believe the same way.
Mhm.
There is a beer for everybody. I refuse to
Agreed.
believe that
Yeah.
there isn't a beer for everybody.
Mm.
So I agree. Great. Well, this brings us to Danette's beer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your beer? What did you bring us?
So I brought the lovely Jam the Radar. Let me go ahead and open it for you guys. All right, so this is Jam the Radar by Bottle Logic Brewing in Anaheim, California. This was actually kindly gifted. We went to, I'm sure, what's his name? Tony.
Your husband?
My husband.
It hasn't been a year yet. Come on. Like, it's okay to forget his name for a second.
So we were in California. He was there for a convention thing, and we went to LA, and he has some friends out there that are now my friends too, Adam and Caitlin. Shout out to you guys. And we went to the brewery to go visit, and they came along with us, and they kindly gifted this to us. So this is a barrel-aged Imperial Raspberry Stout. It's 14%.
Hitting us with the strong ones today.
I know,
But it was...
I didn't know we were here to party.
I know. We're bringing out the big guns. Oh, look at them coming because they want some. So this beer, when we had it at the brewery, was super, super delicious. Now have your glass.
Voila.
Flamenco.
Ooh, I like the head on this.
It's very nice. It has like a pink head because it's like raspberry. Like yeah.
I'm very excited.
And
to
it
try
has
this.
a very jammy finish. So you guys can start trying it as I'm passing it.
We will. I'm not waiting.
Thank you.
So what do you guys think?
Cheers, ladies.
What an inviting smell.
Mhm.
I think the smell is really inviting.
It smells like raspberry French toast.
Mm.
That's what I'm getting.
That's a great way to describe
So
it.
good. With like
Very
mascarpone.
alcohol
Yes.
appearance.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
There's definitely a booziness in the nose.
Oh, wow.
Whereas I will say the lumberjack did not smell 13%.
You're right.
This smells 14%.
Yeah.
Well, this says it's an imperial stout finished with rich cacao nibs and a juicy combination of black and red raspberries. So there's 2 types of raspberries in this.
Okay.
Decadent dessert beer. It doesn't say what barrels it's aged in.
We're about to find out.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
It's good. I'm getting sort of. Have you ever had like a really rich chocolate cake with raspberries either filling or on
Yeah.
top?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Description.
getting.
Yes.
Yes.
It's almost like a Black Forest, but with red. That's the chocolate.
I get it on the finish, right? I get it
Yeah.
on the back
You
of my
get
tongue.
that
I
jammy
that.
tongue.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
there's a yummy acidity to it too.
Yes.
Very well balanced.
So we
Delicious.
love this beer. We
Thank
had
you
like
for
3.
sharing.
You're welcome.
And I feel like when there's a fruit involved, it's okay to be a little bit heavier with the ABV.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas I was happy that the last one wasn't so alcohol forward, this one the fruit sort of balances the alcohol. But you definitely.
I just
Yeah, you can taste it.
I smell it. I feel it. I taste it. But it's good. It's not
we
a bad
obviously
thing.
feel it.
Yeah.
We're dropping stuff already.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it
Raspberry
tonight, guys.
I love it. It's magical. It's magical.
Mm. It's Ellie Magical approved, therefore it is awesome.
Is that a thing? Ellie Magical?
Yes.
She's
Everything's magical or amazing.
Oh.
I have a cousin that says majestic.
Oh,
Interesting.
I haven't been the same since. She described a sign as majestic.
I have
like,
I have an assistant
yes.
that says everything is iconic.
Oh.
That's iconic. She's a senior at FIU, so she's
So that's very
22.
millennial, iconic.
Zillennial. I don't
Zillennial.
even think she's a millennial. She is a
that's
zillennial.
zillennial.
She's a zillennial. So she's not she's a low millennial, but a high Z, I guess.
Sounds like
I don't know what that
I know.
means,
You're
but
right.
okay.
It means she's really not a
I see.
millennial, but we're not ready to like adopt her because like he's a Z. Like my 6-month-old is a Z or maybe an AA. I don't know what he is.
By he, she means her son.
My son is a AA. I think that's where we're going. So we talk a lot about. I work at FIU at a college, so we're dealing with a lot of zillennials where they're Z's, but they're kind of still millennial like, so we call them zillennials.
I see.
Millennials and millennials. I know talking to like an older crowd about craft beers, they're kind of like, oh, set in their ways. And I'm happy that now all these millennials and zillennials are turning 21 and going to breweries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think that's really
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah.
Like my dad will be like, oh, no, go ahead and get me a Heineken. And I'm like, Dad,
Oh yeah.
here's a Pilsner Urquell.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Oh.
not. Here's a Grolsch. Like,
Yeah.
Let me
Start
tell
ramen.
you, going to the Czech Republic, Pilsner Urquell. Is that Czech Republic? That's Hungary. No, it is the Czech Republic. And I don't like lagers. And that is the most delicious thing I've ever had straight from the Czech Republic.
Back
Fun
in World
fact.
of Beer
Yeah.
days, like
Fun
Milko and all those other things. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
But-
so lager is to store in the translation in German. So
Mm.
just like for me, like just knowing that alone, I'm like, of course, Germans are gonna know how to do it better.
True.
But Pilsner Urquell is the one that we were kind of taught at our WAB was like, okay, so this is the gateway beer that you're going to utilize if they like Heineken, if they like that flavor profile. It's going to be very easy for them to transition to craft beer if you use that one. Just like with the Hefeweizens, which is always the girl seller, quote unquote, the Wine stuff on a Hefeweizen was always a go-to. And then everyone becomes addicted. And they'll be like, oh my God, super fruity.
As I told Tony, I taste the bananas. Not really.
Put an orange in it, like for real, yummy. Bananas?
Wow.
It was honestly awesome to have it because first of all I have glassware thanks to Wob. I have wonderful plaques and lots of other presents. But one thing is that I was able to take my dad, and my dad is like a solid Heineken. When he lived here, it was like he drinks like actually regular Budweiser, which you don't meet anyone that uses the white and red.
Bud heavy.
Yeah.
Bud heavy.
Yeah, like Bud heavy.
And he's like, oh, I don't drink that often, but every once in a while, he's like, I'll buy it. I'm like, okay, Dad. But he went and like we kind of played around with what he could like. So at least, and then with my mom and my stepfather, they don't drink, but we were able to go to craft bar, and so every once in a while they'll have non-alcoholic beer just to join me. So it's nice that when people are into your sort of
Can I
thing.
give you a recommendation for a good German non-alcoholic?
Yes, please.
So Kronbacher makes non-alcoholic
That's what
Weiss beers, non-alcoholic dark beers. They just released, I think, about like 2 years ago, the non-alcoholic Weizen in the Miami market. You can find it at Total
That
Wine.
might be what my step when we the other day. We were somewhere and he asked for it, and that's what it was a Kronbacher. I don't know which one it was, but that's what he had. But it's
That's
very
awesome.
often.
They have
But
non-alcoholic
I
pills.
think it's nice when they do make an effort to get to know our hobbies as well. So now we come to a very popular time in the Beer Bros BS world, but we're Beer Babes BS. So would you rather? Are you ready,
Oh,
ladies?
boy.
Okay,
This is
here we go.
this is a scary
Do
moment.
you have a penis for an eye or an eye for a penis?
No, those are all super easy. So I'm gonna
One
mix
of those.
it. I'm gonna mix it up. I have some female specific ones and just some general ones. So let's see. So would you rather reverse one decision you make every day, or be able to stop time for 10 seconds every day?
Time.
Stop time.
Time.
100%.
Definitely stop time, because I don't know if anyone else is a fan of Charmed.
Yes.
And I always wanted to be Piper.
Or Hermione.
I am
The time turner.
I am human. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Don't get me started.
Yeah. Okay, don't start.
Like
Everybody else.
Okay, you can't do that.
We can't start singing Morrissey because.
Hermione too, because she
with
had
her
the
time turner.
Yes.
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 Ooh.
Oh yes, yeah, of course, yeah. I thought you were talking about your cat. I'm sorry.
My cat's name is Hermione, and our boy cat is
She
Strider.
stops
Yes.
time all the time.
Hermione is the half face, and Strider is all black with green. So Amanda, it didn't get to answer.
I would say
You're a
to
Harry Potter fan.
I am a Harry Potter fan.
Yes.
Time turner. Shouts to Hermione for that. But I
Actually,
would say
shout out to McGonagall because that's
for
who
hooking
gave it to
up.
her.
This
That's
is true.
Okay.
This is true.
It's always a teacher.
I would definitely go with redoing one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
I feel like if you
But
want
why?
to be, like, present, like I always have moments where I'm like, I want to freeze this moment forever. Like I have so many of those, like a really, really happy moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you're like, this is
Yeah.
so beautiful. Like I want to.
And then a work text goes
like
through.
a picture.
And it's like, pause.
Or
yeah, and
Goes
I
away
tell my
phone.
friends
So
like,
it's only
I'm
one
trying to
time.
be
It's only
present.
one time a day. It's only 10 seconds.
That's-
So what if you like
Oh.
royally F up on something? You're like, shoot, I got
Well,
the
that's
time
perfect, so
to.
that doesn't happen.
well, or the less.
No regrets, yo.
No, not even one letter. No regrets.
Well,
No.
the less enlightened answer is I want to stop time so I can roll my eyes at someone
Oh, that is a good one.
and just have a massive rant to myself.
Oh,
That's
10,
true.
9,
One of these.
8.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm flicking off everyone. But yes, that's what I mean. When you just want to go in like a beautiful chant around someone with a lot of like flying fingers and then be like,
Punch
okay,
someone in the
pause.
face
Yeah.
in those seconds. And they're like, ow! And you're like, what's wrong?
What happened? What happened?
I don't
Are you
feel-
okay?
I don't feel anything right here, but like right here. Yes, that's that moment.
That's awesome.
Okay, so you ready? Would you rather wear stiletto heels every day, all day,
No.
or wear a push-up bra every day, all day?
Push-up
Heels,
bra.
heels.
Push-up
baby,
bra.
Bring it on.
My legs
Push
are
up
good.
bra.
My
I
calves
was-
are great.
Bras,
Bras.
stilettos.
Stilettos all the
Okay,
way.
okay, so we're almost
I
half.
don't know,
Okay.
ladies.
Listen,
I can run
my,
in heels.
What are
my-
you gonna do?
I wear
these
wire every day,
days?
so I'm okay. I'm
Me
not wearing
too.
stilettos,
No,
so
me
I'm
too.
good.
No.
I'm good.
I'll wear
I can
wire
last
every day.
maybe
Heels,
30
closer to
30
God.
minutes in heels.
Yeah, but you like heels.
Yes, you do.
I guess it depends if you
I
like
do
heels.
Today just for you.
Thank you. But I have an aroma in my foot, so I
Would you
can't
have
wear
to
heels.
sleep with your
so-
heels on? Would you have to
I'm down
sleep
with
with the
that too.
push-up bra?
It doesn't say. It just says all day. I fall asleep with a bra. I don't
No.
care.
Me too.
Yeah, take the bra any day.
Me too.
Well, okay. We are mixed. Okay. Would you rather lose all the hair on your head and body or keep the head hair?
She can't even say it.
Come on, yes. I feel like it's obviously the second one.
But I also have a truly ridiculous amount of body hair.
Oh, okay, so
Like Cousin It?
Yeah, so sorry.
lose it
Would you
all
rather
and
lose
you
all the hair on
die.
your head and body or keep the head hair?
If I could
I would-
choose where the ridiculous amount is.
yeah. Is it
where would
Cousin
it be
It?
then?
How
Is it Cousin
hairy are we
It?
talking? Like how hairy?
Cousin
ridiculous
It.
amount.
Yeah.
Is
Like-
it
You like
movable?
wolf people?
You
You
know?
know what I mean?
Can I?
It's visible. So would you rather be bald or
Like-
be
Well, you could wear a
hairy,
wig.
furry?
Okay, naked
You could wear a
mole rat,
wig.
100%.
Really
Like I would
long
literally be
toe.
like, I would like to just glide through water. That's all I want.
Paint my eyebrows on, throw a wig on. I'm
Yeah.
good. I never have to worry about
I agree.
shaving, waxing.
I don't know what Mike's shaved head looks
I
like.
feel like I already.
Well, you
have
could just wear a wig.
Hair,
You wear a wig and a
I'm
wig.
Latina. Like,
Yeah. Have you seen my arms?
Hello. you can just get it taken out. Hello, laser.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. No.
In one
No.
other world, it does not
No,
work.
you can't laser.
No, you can't.
It's not a thing.
That's part of the condition.
Exactly. You'd have
But
to live with the hair.
It's
Yeah, would
every
you
day,
rather
you don't
live
have
with all that
$10,000
You
hair?
can draw your hair and then your body hair at the same time. You'll be Cousin It.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
It would be your hair and an outfit.
I'll be bald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
That's a really long time.
Here's a
ago.
good one. Would you rather eat no candy at Halloween or no turkey at Thanksgiving?
No candy.
No candy at Halloween.
No candy Halloween.
We know, Michelle.
No
It was
turkey.
Like, none.
Yeah, no candy.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all
No,
for
I would
Thanksgiving.
say no turkey.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
candy.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Yeah,
My
I
mom's
love
gonna
it.
listen to this.
Okay.
Mom, I love your turkey. I will never give it up.
Yeah.
Turkey's like,
My mom based
Dry.
the turkey in beer, so
oh, I'm not having the right turkey. It's like
correct.
There's
You're not
there's
having
a turkey out there for everybody.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Michelle
here's
has
a good
tofu
one
turkey.
that the guys would never answer. Would you rather be asked every day if you are PMSing or be told every day to stop being so sensitive?
oh fuck off.
Oh man. Yes,
Most definitely, my answer would be,
They both suck, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't.
That's just-
are you
Lose-lose.
PMSing? Because, sometimes, I mean, that's a valid answer. But what was the other one that pissed me off?
Stop being so sensitive.
Stop being so sensitive. That will instantly get your dick cut off in my house.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I don't like
Okay.
that one at all.
No.
So we're okay with the
Stop,
first one,
like,
Amanda?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sensitivity.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So, would you rather live an extra 8 years or get paid 23% more? Because that's
Oh yeah, I
the
would
ratio.
like
you
paid
know?
more.
Bitch better have my money.
Right?
I would rather have the money.
Money.
More
Okay,
money.
That's good. Would you rather be the funniest person in the room or the most intelligent?
Most intelligent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Funniest.
definitely. Most
I was
intelligent.
like, yeah, I was like 100%. I was like, I don't care.
I'm elitist,
Hilarious.
so I need the
Yeah.
Can I
intelligent.
bring joy to everyone all the time and not make them like second guess themselves every time they talk to me? Hell yeah. Do I want you
Oh.
to feel comfortable and love me?
But
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
you're smart enough to know when not to say that.
Well, exactly.
Well, maybe.
True.
I mean, I just think of like Chris Farley. I'd feel like, can I be that as a woman? Like, hell yeah, I would love to be
But
that.
Chris Farley,
Yeah, no.
yeah, we know.
I wouldn't do all his life choices, but I mean, definitely like his outgoingness and his,
But I
like,
think there's an
Robin Williams, like
yeah,
absolutely
but
hilarious.
but he's
yet
absolutely
downside.
intelligent though. There's
Yeah.
like a level of intelligence you need to have
Harmony there.
to have that comedy and to have that quick wittedness. I feel yeah, absolutely. I think they kind of go hand in hand. Why are you shaking?
So the last one is: would you rather live in a world with the movie Bridesmaids or without the Mean Girls? So you can only choose one of the
come
two
on.
movies.
That's
No.
tough.
Los
I'm-
niños en las escuelas azul forever. Bridesmaids.
No, I'm Team Mean Girls
Oh yeah,
for sure.
that was so good.
Okay, so Mean
Does this
Girls-
mean without the?
So you can only have one or the other.
You mean as films?
Oh, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, like
Mean Girls.
Oh,
is
I
a
thought you meant like
lifestyle.
in real life you would eliminate the Mean Girls
No, it's
from
the
like.
movie. Oh,
the
wow.
movie. I would say.
Oh, I hate Mean Girls,
eliminate
so
Mean Girls.
So
is it-
you're a
No.
bridesmaid girl.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, if you had to
own
choose,
I own both movies actually. This
Yes.
is a great divide.
why Mean Girls sucks?
No. Oh my God. On Wednesdays we were
pink on
Yeah.
I never were.
Always. You can't sit with us.
That's
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I like
we're letting her
Bridesmaids
sit
better
with
because
us.
it's,
Yeah.
I guess, more relatable now.
Yes, and I feel like the Mean Girls, I feel like it just kind of like contributes to people just acting more bitchy with other females. And I feel like with Bridesmaids, it's like you catch someone being bitchy and then they realize how stupid they feel.
It's
for being
friendship.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? I shouldn't be competing with this other woman. Where I should just be like, just enjoying our company
Very
to make
good.
our friend
But
happy.
it
Like
takes
right
a while
now.
to come to
Of
that.
course.
So they
Yes.
still have the angst of Mean Girls, but they come to it faster without an intervention.
Well,
in
because
high
they're
school.
adults.
They're adults.
Absolutely.
Well, allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
Mean Girls doesn't have poop humor.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
poop
Oh,
humor
that
is the
one-
best.
That one. I don't know how they-
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Sorry.
No,
So,
Bridesmaids is...
anyways, was that a fun Would You Rather?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That was good.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
good.
Thank you.
So,
That was good.
Danii, would
Yes.
you... Let's go ahead and open your
Yes, super excited
contribution.
about
We're
yours.
very excited.
Pop that can.
I actually had somebody named Brad, one of my husband's college and high school friends, that was like, why can't you find someone to mule that for us? So, Brad, we're drinking it right now. So go for it. Tell us what it is.
All right. So, right now we are drinking a Florida native beer. It is called the Upside Down Pineapple Hazelnut Cherry Sour. It's by Hidden Springs Aleworks. They are out of Tampa, Florida. The ABV is 5.5%. So I'm giving you guys a little
break, a little breather.
Yeah,
Think we need
on
it?
the alcohol side, but not on the palate side.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna
I'm
crush
so
you
excited.
guys right now.
Ooh, it's
And
pretty.
just so you guys know, I mean, I love the artwork that goes into Hidden Springs and everything they do on their
Oh,
cans. This is made for Tampa Beer Week,
Oh, interesting.
right? This is made for them. It's a collaboration with Tampa Beer Week. It is a pineapple upside down cake Berliner with pineapple, cherry, vanilla, hazelnut, and milk sugar. Let me blow your mind.
My goodness.
Because when you
Sorry
say
about two.
pineapple upside down, I'm thinking gross. This is amazing.
This is amazing.
I
Gross.
don't like that cake. I don't like that cake. So I'm thinking gross, but this is...
No. This is
No,
everything.
no.
Maybe you'll think twice.
You know, they've been making some interesting blends lately. Hidden Springs. They put, like, we've gone to
Oh
the
my
tap
gosh.
room a few times, and sometimes, like, you look at the board and you're like, really? You're blending those things together? But then you try it and you're like, this is
Wow, it
interesting.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. And I think, so I think Tampa is probably the closest market to Miami that is doing big things.
Mhm.
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
And I will say, it does have a very pretty color to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
The look profile, if that's a thing, it's not hazy. It's got a little bit of pink, orangey. You know what this looks like?
It's like tangerine.
What's that tequila sunrise kind of drink? You know,
Tequila sunrise.
Tequila, grenadine, and orange juice. Yeah.
This is what it looks like. Great pool beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've been so my palate. So we talked about palates changing, and of course starting out with Belgians, and then I went through my IPA phase, and then my stout and porter phase, which I was the heaviest, may I add. So yes. Oh my goodness. Just sat on. Anyways, so now I'm in a sour and a low ABV phase, simply because I want to have a few more and I want to enjoy it. And so, I've been telling Michelle, I'm just obsessed with sours right now. It is a real obsession.
I feel that.
And yeah, Hidden Springs has just been delivering for me lately, so shout out to them. And I know they did a collab with Union, so I'm happy to have like Miami and Tampa coming into a collaboration like that.
I could see them having a nice collab with Tripping Animals.
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness, absolutely.
Ignacio, make it happen.
We're gonna lie this with a little
Ignacio.
guava pastelito on the side.
Ooh.
Fire.
I just gave them their new recipe.
Are you listening, Ignacio? Are you listening?
Copyright.
Do you get it?
I don't
Guava
know.
pastelito.
For some reason, the flavor profile is
Call it
making me
the
think
Michi.
that they
Band-Aids.
make a great no.
Inside jokes. Sorry,
I don't know
guys.
Why. I guess it's because I was looking at an article earlier about how to make the perfect macaron or whatever. But this, as the cream filling of a macaron,
Say it to me
would
slow.
be freaking
Oh.
phenomenal.
You mean mac?
I'm saying macaron.
Oh.
Pardonnez-moi.
I love it.
Can I have a macaron?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's the coconut one. That's the distinction. And it's with only one O. This is French.
You know what I love too? It doesn't taint your palate.
Oui.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it sits there, it lingers for a little while, and then
I'm
it
not
goes
like-
away. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I love that. And
But I
think
do
that's-
like the pucker. I'm
Yeah.
like,
You know,
It's
you
a
know what they're
pucker
doing?
enough without being too much pucker.
They're adding this like milk sugar and lactose.
lactose.
And stuff.
Oh,
It's sour.
yes.
Totally
It
lactose.
feels like, yeah.
The
I would say
smoothness.
It feels like we're having
that
almost like a
mouthfeel.
batilla mame.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like where you
Yeah.
have that, you get that, like,
The
you get your
creaminess.
fruit, but you get that really creaminess. It kind of just like coats your whole entire tongue, but not necessarily the roof of your mouth and the rest of it, you know?
hmm
I love it.
I'll take some
Isn't
more.
it, what they've been adding a lot to beers lately, but mostly like I'd say East Coast IPAs is the is it lupulin or is it lupulin?
Lupulin. So I learned about lupulin in California, about what it was.
So what is it exactly? Because I don't know. Sometimes I find that like it'll irritate me a little bit. Like I don't know. Sometimes have an adverse reaction to it. I'm just curious, like what the content is.
I think, if I remember, because I don't remember now, it's a powder, right? Can everyone come in here? It's like a hops powder. And it was explained to me further, but I can't relay it to you at this moment in time.
Okay.
Because we have this thing called Google.
The Google machine.
Danii Dollars.
It is the glandular hairs beneath the scales of flower on the female hop plant.
There we go.
Interesting.
So
Because
it does
women
come
do
from
it better.
hops, but it's
Yeah.
a different part of the hop
Right.
industry. So like a lot of people use hop pellets, you know, and stuff like that. So you use lupulin powder, which comes from. I'm sure it may probably add to the bitterness.
I mean, it gives it a cloudy flair. At least
Yeah.
that's what I'm understanding. But and also it's the lactose mixed in with the. But the thing is, to me, the lupulin powder gives it a distinct taste
Mm.
that lets you know it's definitely East Coast.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I found lupulin powder a lot in California when we went.
See, I'm looking at this. Do you see this as like a hibiscus flower?
Well, I'm not in California all the time.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous.
I love the
love
way,
it.
yes.
Love.
Are we cheersing again?
Oh, we're
Okay.
doing it again.
Cheers.
Every beer.
Cheers again.
Love it. Love it.
Danny loves cheering all the time to the point that even sometimes we'll get water and she'll be like, I'm like, stop it, we don't do that. She's like, but
Cheers
it's
to that,
water.
Michelle.
Yeah.
I cheers my food, so I get that. I'm like,
well, no, we cheers our forks before
Yep.
we eat. Like, we're definitely like those kind of votes.
Give it a good
I love it.
blessing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a group thing.
Exactly.
I always offer
Exactly.
my food, even if it's like
Yes.
one French fry. I'm like, you want to split this?
It's the last Skittle. I'm like, do you want it? It's just the last one. They're like, oh, of course.
No, I'm a hoarder and I want all my food.
Sharing? What is that? I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I have trouble with sharing my food. It really bothers me. But
One
yeah.
of my friends is like that too.
no, you know, if you have something,
She overfeeds though.
I do overfeed because I love to feed people.
I took your chicken.
I'm not a
wings to work.
feeder. Did you? Did they like
I
it?
did.
Ooh.
I'm like, here, have my dry rub chicken wings in drums. And
No.
2 people actually tried it, which was kind of interesting to work. I was like, they're like, oh, this is good. But I will say, I baked it last night, and that chicken melted into my mouth. It was amazing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You didn't think my mouth started salivating. I know I don't eat meat anymore, but I was like,
good.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
was gonna say,
Me
'cause
too.
we have
I'm
some-
very sorry.
no. I'm every time I have a craving for something meat, I just make the opposite of it. So I was really craving Philly cheesesteaks when I first stopped eating meat, and I made like a portobello like cheesesteak.
Okay.
Oh.
And
We
it
got that
was-
umami.
It
It's
was
all right.
amazing.
Yeah.
But I was laughing, so I was telling someone about it, and I meant to say like the taste alone makes you feel like you're eating a real Philly cheesesteak. But
Right.
I was like, with your eyes closed, it tastes like, and they were like, oh, so you have to close
Okay.
your eyes. I'm like, no, it wasn't like bad
Have you-
looking.
Some people
have you
don't
eaten
get
a
it.
Beefsteak?
What
So
is that?
FIU has a food truck that's called Beefsteak, and it is vegetarian.
Ooh.
And so the beefsteak is actually
A tomato.
Beefsteak tomato, yes.
Mhm.
And it's
Stop.
allegedly amazing. I had the sloppy Joe version
Awesome.
of non-meat, and it was really good. But I wasn't expecting to go to a vegetarian restaurant,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
kind of like, and they have a lavender lemonade that is life changing.
Ooh.
So everyone goes there for the cilantro over cilantro. So it's like a super cilantro. I have that cilantro gene, so I can't eat cilantro.
Oh, so
Wow.
it tastes like soap for you?
Yeah, it's horrible.
We were just talking about this earlier today.
And it's only happened in the last couple years. Like, I hate
Oh.
Chipotle. I think Chipotle should not exist. I was going to say something worse.
Well,
but-
they put cilantro in everything, in the guac, in the rice, in the chicken.
I don't care. I love cilantro.
Tony was like, no, you have to like Chipotle. And my other friends were like, you have to like, and I've tried it 3 times, and I've
Well,
hated it each time.
Speaking
They
of
used to
burning
be
your
better.
bacon, this is not my what burns your bacon, but Chipotle, put your game up. Stop putting so little chicken in your bowls now.
Yeah.
I was so angry. I opened my bowl and there was like 3 pieces of chicken and I was like, no.
We had a game night. Just to
Bastards.
put some perspective, we had a game night a week and a half ago. We happened to have a Chipotle about 2 minutes
Chipotle.
away.
What's this Chipotle?
Chipotle? She doesn't eat there, everybody.
Now, but
Tomato,
you know
tomato.
What, you know what pissed off your husband is you guys forgot we have a church chicken. And you could have eaten church's chicken, but instead you
No.
went to Chipotle. He's allowed every once in a while to have it.
Okay.
Church's chicken.
There's so
We
much
have a
Church's
Church's
Chicken in Puerto
Kitchen.
Rico. Fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah,
We waited
Random.
a year and a
Okay,
half.
it's not church. It's church.
No, actually, I had too much beer. My
Vamos a
husband's coming over.
church.
It's actually Popeyes. Sorry.
I actually, that's why I was looking at her. I was like, we saw Popeyes. I didn't see the Church's
It's a
though.
Popeyes. I don't know. I forget which chicken is like the best chicken to have. It's apparently Popeyes.
I love how
That was Louisiana Fest.
yeah.
That chicken from Popeyes. Okay, we digress. So if you're in the Miami Springs, Virginia Gardens area, because don't say it's Springs, it's Virginia Gardens. We have a brand new Popeyes. So just so you know, yes, you're right. I don't know. Apparently, that 13 and 14% is affecting me. Anyways, but great beer. We love our buddies at Hidden Springs.
Yes.
So
I'm
Awesome,
definitely the first. Okay, thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate you. I was like, I am the first one to finish it. Thanks, guys.
No,
I was
no,
like,
finish
we-
this is
okay, I
amazing.
had
two of
those. We had to
No,
refill.
we got-
That was
Yeah, I had a little
absolutely
bit extra there.
Wonderful.
So now we get to our first topic.
Ooh.
So kind of falling in the theme of what the Beer Bros guys do.
Okay.
So they always ask when they're at a brewery, you know, who's your guy? Is it Captain America or is it Iron Man? I didn't really want to do that. So my question is, who here has seen Captain Marvel?
Saw it.
No, I haven't seen
we're not
it.
giving-
No
we're
spoilers,
not
no
giving any
spoilers.
I'm just asking.
I've seen
I
it.
will say it's amazing. It's amazing. She is my new favorite person. Number one. But number two, who is anxious to see the final Avengers Endgame? Because I feel like my
I
life
can't
is
wait.
going to stop. Okay, so
I'm
I
excited.
feel like Michi might not.
Yeah, I was like, no.
But how are they
I
going
know.
to go from the last one?
They are going to do it. So I'm
But
I'm
everybody's
investing
dead.
to
They're
watch
not
every
really
movie.
But are
dead.
they, though?
They're
Are
not
they?
really.
They're just
I know,
hiding
but-
behind the universe.
Look, this is why I didn't cry
There's
at
an
the
infinity
end.
stone
They're
for
in
that.
the sixth dimension of the parallelism. I mean, like, where are they? Where are they hiding? Are
They
out in
just
Wakanda
they did
forever?
no, they disintegrated. But what's gonna happen is wait. Let me. They're gonna turn back time. Turn back time. And they're gonna start from the point that everyone started disintegrating, and they're gonna get the stone, and that's gonna be the storyline.
Right.
So I didn't cry or I wasn't upset as I was watching it because in my head I was thinking all these people are gonna come back anyway.
But
Yeah.
here's
Am I
the
killing
thing.
it?
You're not dead until
Yeah.
you're really
But
dead.
here's the thing: is he a hero or is he a villain? Like, let's look at.
Well, genocide is never good, Sonia.
No, but he says that he's thinking of the, basically the greater good.
Yeah, but that's what Hitler said too.
Yes,
Yeah.
So I'm just asking, like, I'm playing it. Like, I mean, when they showed him, he's like weary. He is
Mhm.
like, humans suck.
Right.
Well, they
All
do.
we do is hurt ourselves. So,
Mhm.
You
You can kind
now,
of get
imagine
his
now, there's
opinion.
not- yes, you can give the analogy to Hitler, but Hitler was targeting a specific group. Here, he's just saying it's 50-50.
Yeah.
So he's literally saying maybe with less people, we could have a better world. So just curious, but I wanted to stay in the sort of genre of the thing. So, but I will definitely say, we haven't gotten to see a lot of movies lately. We saw Into the Interverse, the Spider-Man.
Oh, the Spider-Man, that was really
not
good.
Really funny.
I did not want to see it. I was pissed off that I was going to waste my one movie night away from the baby on it, and it was phenomenal.
It was really good.
and I'm happy that we saw.
I'm
Captain
still waiting
Marvel.
to
Yes.
see Bohemian Rhapsody because somebody went
Also
without
great.
Me. Just
Excuse me.
Somebody went without me just saying
So
Matt.
I will say this.
Yeah,
I
no
had
names,
this,
but-
I actually had this
We'll
conversation
We'll see it
yesterday.
again. We'll see it. I swear we'll see it again. Ellie. Still waiting.
We'll rent it and watch it.
I haven't seen it either yet, Ellie.
And I do love the main actor because he was in Mr. Robot, and that was amazing.
Oh, I did like Mr. Robot.
So
it was
good.
really good. They didn't sign that again for another season,
I know,
did they?
it's
Isn't it like
unfortunate.
3 seasons
but
on Amazon?
I don't know. I think I only saw the
there's,
first
I think
two.
there's 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
not
watching the
100% sure.
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
So what was the
Oh,
conversation
so
you were having?
good.
What was the conversation?
Oh, the
you were
conversation
having?
was I can't remember the last movie I saw in the movie theater.
Really?
Wow.
Like I cannot remember the last movie I
Is it
saw.
because you don't like to go to the theater? You're busy? What is the thing?
Honestly, Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Umbrella Academy.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Oh,
my
I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm watching. I'm like currently finishing Star Trek Discovery. Like, and that's a very like hot topic. So a lot of people like didn't like it, especially like your hardcore Star Trek fans. Like,
Yeah.
I love everything space.
I'm watching Chuck right now.
Ooh,
Chuck is great.
I saw it the
around.
first time because
I want to watch it again.
sleep is a thing that I'm missing in my life, so I can only watch shows that I've already watched before. So it's okay if I fall asleep in them. I can't take on anything new.
Well, I'm really into. Have you guys watched Chef's Table.
Yes.
Yes.
Super fascinating.
Love
and
it.
now I just want to eat at all these restaurants
Yup.
all
Yeah.
over the
I
world.
know.
And just like, I like
I
the
always wanna
concept.
eat.
Yeah, I always want to eat. But I love all the concept that they're talking about, like how they speak through their food, the different things that they're talking about, like the restaurants in the South, how they're trying to really like bring back like the roots of West African culture in their food. It's super fascinating.
Yeah.
Nerdy, but fascinating.
I just feel like
That'll
Netflix
be
has
it.
kind of like stopped me from wanting to go to the movie theater.
You don't
Like, why do I
necessarily
wanna
have to
spend-
go.
Why do I
Right.
want to like spend so much money to buy a ticket, and then on top of that, I can't eat there because I'm gonna. That's at least another $30.
I can get you
Yeah.
discounted tickets if you
And
need
There's
some.
there's
And
packages.
I go to Lejeune
Talk to me
6.
later.
I go to Lejeune 6,
I don't know.
and they reinvented their theater, and the prices are not horrific. So you can get
Okay.
like a
Where?
at Lejeune 6 because that's where it's
The
Lejeune 6
AMC
on Lejeune,
one?
Yeah,
Oh,
Northwest
I know what you're
7.
talking
Yeah.
about. 7.
And
Yes.
I've always loved
I've
it
been there,
because they're the ones that
They have
you can
sofas
get there
now,
2
recliners.
minutes- You can get there 2
What?
minutes before
Yes.
a movie. Nobody knows that it still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
My
thought
abuela, my baby's abuela is there, so like, the baby goes there, and we can go to the movies right by there. So it's like a whole thing, and you can buy snacks for under $20 for 2 people.
Wow.
Oh wow!
I
Not
will
too
say,
bad.
if you ever been to a movie theater back when I used to eat meat and you smelled pan con té, it's because I went to La Carreta before I went to the movies, and I totally pulled it out of my purse and like ate it, and everyone was like, I could hear people in the movie theater like, that smells so good. And it's like,
They were
yeah,
having
it's
major
better than your
FOMO.
nachos.
Well, I'm
and
that
then
girl
your
that pops my own
$18
popcorn.
your
nachos.
$18 nachos. My $6 pan con té is like so good.
Nice.
They will always tell me, bring the big purse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Stop at
Sure.
Walgreens.
Oh my goodness.
You go to
Of course.
Yeah,
CVS,
exactly.
you get all the
Bet you
Stock
didn't-
up the
I bet you
big
didn't know you were gonna
purse.
find out about more than just beer at this point.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I did have a lot of really great beers and the movie theater. That's something I
But
definitely
yeah, the
remember.
prices really kept me. I used to be like a go for 3 movies in the same day. I mean, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
like Jose's
Mhm.
not as much of a movie,
movie hop.
person. He
Yeah,
also
yeah.
did not like movie hopping. He's
Oh, I
hated
love
about
movie
that.
hopping.
I love it.
That's how you
Yeah.
get your bang for your buck, right?
Yeah. That was like your middle
You have to
school
plan it.
pastime.
Me and
Exactly.
my dad do that still. I did that like
My
a
dad
month
would be
ago.
like, "This movie is awful. I saw this movie starting 30 minutes from now. Do you want to just walk around, go to the bathroom maybe, and then go to the
It's
movies?"
also
I'm
my
like,
dad
"Of course."
Can you
finished
all
one.
go to movies by yourself? Because I actually kind of
Absolutely.
And I just did.
That was my
Oh.
college
Yeah.
experience.
Can't say I've ever been to a movie by
Really?
myself.
Oh,
would
I-
say it's liberating, and you should try it.
It is.
I
Okay.
really
I don't mind
kinda
doing things by
prefer it,
myself. I like doing,
but you just haven't done it.
but I've just never.
I
done a movie by
love
myself.
going to the movies by myself.
Highly recommend.
Do you
It's a
comment more
great
if you're by
experience.
yourself because you know that it doesn't matter? You're
No.
like yelling at the theater like, "Don't go in there!"
No,
like,
probably less because if someone's there, I feel like I have to talk to them.
Oh no, I don't talk to
yeah.
people if I don't want
talk
to.
you.
Well, you do, but then I'm
Side
kind
note-
of. She talks to me, and I'm like, Sonia, leave me alone. I'm trying to watch this. I hate when people talk to me in the
My
movie
sister's
theater.
I was
like,
gonna
"Oh,
say
no,
that's a
I'm
burn
like
my
that.
My
bacon.
sister will be like,
Jane
"Who is
Austen
that?" I'm like,
Zombies
"We're
movie
watching the same
required it.
movie."
Yeah.
It did. The Jane Austen.
What is it here for?
No, but my husband.
That is my mother.
My husband will be like, hey, "What's gonna happen next?" I'm like,
Like,
"Dude,
we're-
I'm watching
we're-
the movie the
You've
same
seen as
time
much as I have.
you."
You've seen as much as I have.
Who do you think that is?
No, Tony doesn't do that.
Wait, what did she say? Like, I
Yeah.
don't fucking know. I don't know.
Tony doesn't like me talking
Yeah.
during shows or films because I always figure out the plot
Yeah.
points.
Ooh, yes.
So I sometimes accidentally like, oh, this is gonna happen now, and he's like, "Brr," because
Yeah, that's
Because you're
it.
usually right.
because I'm always
we
right.
know.
Not usually.
I don't know,
I am always right.
Women's intuition, where we like immediately are like, "Oh yeah, by the way, he's the murderer."
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you know,
Like,
but he
they're
is.
so in love.
He's like, there hasn't been a murder yet. I'm like,
Well,
well,
we
he's
also-
definitely.
But it's
killing
gonna
someone.
happen.
Yeah.
We read a lot, so we're used to a lot.
Yeah, I think like yeah, exactly. I'm
That's where
an
we're
English person, a literary person, so it's kind of like you've already read through all the possible plot points. And also, yeah, intuition.
Yeah.
If you have
Yeah.
intuitiveness in
Mhm.
any way, it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, that was
Okay.
an interesting topic.
Yeah,
So,
it's fun.
Ellie, what did you bring for us?
Well, I brought, because of the whole theme with the Frenchness, I brought a New Belgian.
We have a French
That's
theme.
what was it?
We were talking about the macarons
Excusez-moi.
Okay, maybe you
Okay,
have
I was
French
talking
theme.
about macarons earlier. I'm sorry. You know,
That's okay.
I do teach French every morning, so
There we
you
go.
know,
That's
it's
okay. We
stuff I'm
like it.
Oh.
We
Okay,
can
so
be francophiles
Let me
tonight.
go back to it. Okay, so I have the La Folie Vintage 2017. It is from New Belgian Brewing. It is a sour Flanders Oud Brewing. And it is 7%. However, it may not still be a 7% as it has been aged 2 years. So I'm going to guesstimate it's about a 9 or 10 now.
And has this been in your basement cellar?
It has. However, I have done a La Folie vertical before of various years, and that was quite exciting. So as I was going through my arsenal, I noticed, I'm like, oh, is this La Folie mine or yours, JC? He goes, that's your La Folie. I'm like, bye, mine.
He likes to make fun of her because she hoards her beers and makes him open
It's
his
not
bottles.
hoarding, it's called collecting.
If
Okay.
anybody
No,
was
no, no,
so-
Exactly.
I'm
She's like-
waiting
she's
for
like,
the
"Oh, I don't need
vertical.
to bring
Exactly.
mine."
No, because Ellie brings like 3 bottles to a bottle share and goes home with the same 3 bottles.
To be fair, it's hard with the penises in the room to open a bottle.
This is quite
to be
true.
honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna pop it like
A live opening. Oh, I
live
yelled.
Pop it like it's hot.
basic-
Pop it like
can
it's
you
hot.
hear? Can you hear the magic? Hold on. Oh goodness. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Sweet.
Okay, let's see. That's
You know, when you pop that bottle, you brought the Tony to the yard. My La Folie brings Tony to the yard.
And
Ladies
they're
and
like-
gentlemen. Oh, Danette took it over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She likes to pour.
See, I don't know. I love.
I'm just a control
I
freak.
love Flemish Reds.
Never.
I love.
I love
Bruins.
Flemish.
Flemish Reds are like, well, see, Tony knows this, and so does Danette, the Duchess de la Bourgogne. It's
so
probably,
good.
man, I thought I had one left over. I looked for it today, and I was like,
Oh,
dang,
goodness.
man. But this smells like magic. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to do to myself right now.
It smells really good,
Oh, it smells. This is one of those beers
Ooh.
that ages well.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had another one. I'm sorry about the 50 French names, but I had another one that I bought from a friend's cellar.
Tart.
Actually, it was from Caesar's
Interesting.
cellar a while ago.
Mhm.
It was a Sana by Mon Chien is the name of the beer, and it was a 2007.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I got it in like 2012, right? And so another friend of mine was like, I don't think you should sit on that. And then I found out it's one of those rare beers that can sit for like a decade and it keeps getting better. When we opened that sucker, which I don't remember what year we opened it, it was delicious. And I've been trying to find a bottle ever since. So shout out, if anyone can get a Sana by Mon Chien, hook it up. Thanks.
Yeah.
This
So you
is-
guys know what I like?
What?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes,
Cheers. I will say, I have never had a beer
Mm.
that is tardy and salivating at the same time.
Yeah, the carbonate,
right?
a carbonation that keeps happening for
Oh my
me.
God,
Yeah.
like
It's like
my,
dancing
it's
on,
like
on the back of
mouth
my
is
tongue.
still saying, "Come to me,
Yes.
come to me, come to me."
Oh,
more,
it's
more.
saying come to me. All right.
What I like about it is it's like a front tongue like tartness. It's
Yeah.
not like it
doesn't hit you in the
your
back.
side.
Right.
It doesn't,
French,
like,
it's,
No lockjaw there.
Mhm.
ooh.
Wait, what did you say?
Danny's like putting back like her Rolodex. Like I think I know it. I think I know it. Like,
Danny's a real renaissance woman, ladies and gentlemen. This is good.
It smells
Oh,
good.
man, I
It
love
tastes
Flemish
good.
beers.
It like rolls down your throat. Oh.
I
Ooh.
may have another one.
I mean, this is sounding a bit.
We still talking about here?
I know.
Beer here?
So if you're still here listening to us, don't we sound so much better than those dorky boys? Come on.
Yeah,
Tell us.
for real.
This is the time when you should really be IGing us.
I don't
and
think we should be
telling us
calling people dorky.
why.
Well,
You mean
we're
our
married.
boyfriends and husbands?
Some of them-
I can definitely be a dork.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you made it to this point, you can tell me at Beer Dolfan what you think about how delicious this sounds.
Sorry, really? I love Sonia's attempt at a radio voice. I love that. That was awesome. I'm sorry.
Killed it, Sonia.
I
Yeah,
did
you
not
did
kill
killed it.
Oh my gosh.
No, but you
saying.
killed it in a good way.
I mean, I do get people slide into my DMs to find out how they could be on Beer Bros and BS. So,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
All right, Sonia.
In
Tell
a
them
good
to
way,
take a
not
number.
a bad way. It's in a good way. They're like, because I'm clearly more approachable than these people.
Is there a good way to slide into your DMs?
That's the only way you should be sliding into my DMs. That's
Slid in my DMs.
Or to
Sonia
be
slid in
like,
my
wow,
DMs.
you look really cute today.
Can I just say that I just learned about this sliding into DMs like not too long ago. I didn't even know.
What? That
That's
was a
because
song.
you
I
have
am
a
not.
phone.
I'm not a.
like a
That
slide
works, like-
because the BM and the slide
They
into
go
the
down
DM.
and the DM
Well,
go down. It goes, yo,
This
guys.
is
Yeah.
coming from the person who thought OMW meant oh my word.
It's not?
on my way.
On my way.
Oh
You
my
knew
word.
that. You knew that.
Oh my
I
word.
said on my way.
I
I
know
was-
some acronyms from the students, but OMW was like, oh my word. That's what I thought it was too.
I mean,
That's what I
Oh!
Yeah.
I feel like sliding is like 2017. Now it's all like doing it for the gram. Do it for the gram.
I have no idea.
Do it for the gram.
No,
No,
this is
thank
for the
you.
gram. This is for the gram.
Stunning for the gram.
That's very.
I just feel like we should be. If this was live, we could get that feedback. But if somebody is listening to us sometime past the time that this podcast, feel free to reach out to us because most of us are actually all of us are very approachable,
Yeah,
but some of us are more likely to actually respond.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
just to let you know that.
I definitely describe myself as like an introverted extrovert. You know what I mean? Like I'm always like
Hi,
on, all
Same.
the time.
Hi,
But at the
E.
same time, I'm like, do I like hiding in my room and just like watching a lot of anime?
It's all about
Yes.
balance.
Well,
yes, I do.
My thing is like, if you leave me alone, I will forget that I have to speak to people, and I will happily be in my house for 2 weeks and be like, oh yes, I have not made human contact.
Is this first contact?
We killed the bottle. We literally.
We come in peace.
Well, we know who's our top winner right
No.
now.
Actually,
Okay.
Yeah, we
crushed.
We
crushed
have-
all
we
of
have-
them.
we have
Like,
some
There's
great
no
stuff.
remnants left in these bottles.
So
great,
now
ladies.
we're coming on to our next topic, and Ellie sort of hinted to it earlier. It's a two-parter.
Uh-oh.
So some of us have some thoughts about this. So talking about the college admission scandal that has broken earlier. For those of you who don't know about it, so this conspiracy involved bribing SAT and ACT exam administrators to allow a test taker to secretly take college entrance exams in place of student or to correct the student. So basically, some of it was having someone that was not the student take the SAT. That's been happening for many years.
Yeah,
I
I was
used
gonna
to
say, like, I
work
feel
for Kaplan Test Prep, and I knew people that did that as a business. I think it's important, but that happens. Bribing university athletic coaches and administrators to basically say, to give them a scholarship to get, so think about it. When you're an athlete, you still have to get in higher than maybe another college, but you don't have to. So like, let's say if it's a Stanford. So if Stanford requires a 1390 for their freshmen, their athletes might only in quotes have to do a 1260. So if you can come in as an athlete, as a 1260, and so what they would do is they would pose and pretend to be athletes at their high school. Then they never did that sport. They also bribed coaches. So they weren't actually bribing the university, which that's been done forever. You could buy a hall, a library, and you would get in. But this was bribing individuals that were taking a spot away from someone else. And then also using the facade of this charitable organization. So it's a kind of a two-part question. What do you feel about, because coming from a test prep place, there is already, if you have money, you already have more of an advantage to people that don't have money.
Right.
So this is taking it to like the extreme. Then number two, if you've been seeing it, there have been two faces that have been shown.
Yep.
Aunt Becky, Lori Loughlin, and Felicity Hoffman. There are 33 people that are indicted. You don't see a single man's face or a father's face being broadcast. So since we are the female version, how do you feel about these two women being basically the face of this scandal when there are tons of men, fathers that were also, I've seen like one article that shows Felicity Hoffman's husband. They've always referenced Lori Loughlin's husband.
He wasn't indicted in, and as far as Lori Loughlin's husband, Massimo,
They talk about it.
he is also named as one.
I don't even know what he looks like.
Okay, well, I
So
know what he
that's-
looks like because there have been like 20,000 pictures blasted everywhere.
Right.
But he is also part of that 33-person indictment in the last article that I read. But you notice that she's been the main person that they're focusing on. And as far as Lori Loughlin compared to Felicity Huffman was physically detained, arrested, like publicly shamed for the whole incident. And then Lori Loughlin was just told to like come home from some trip she was on, but she was never detained.
Right.
It's despicable. As an educator,
Right.
I start to wonder, I'm like, how many of my freaking students tried to get into school that had amazing grades and weren't afforded the opportunity because of, and like, I have to mention, because you gave a very good description, but there was one thing in particular that I read about that blew me away. They were faking being ESC, which is emotionally exceptional students, or children that are like what you would consider to be learning disabled, I guess is the equivalent without using the moniker.
Right, because they were given longer time to take their test, their SAT test.
Not only were they given additional time with a special hired proctor, but if they got answers incorrect and they were going for a certain number, like let's say they wanted a 37 on their ACT, they're like, we'll give them a 38. They got people to come in and change their scores, like correct them until they attain the correct number. And I've already heard this. I'm not talking about TMZ. I've heard about it in like credible sources, like 3 or 4 different sources where they were talking about like, not only did they hire a person to proctor, a specific proctor, the kids it was unbeknownst to some of the kids, and I can see why, because they're like, why am I going to go and take it? And they're like, oh no, because of the notoriety of her family, we don't want them to get out in the open. And then someone would come in and hand correct the test if there were anything to get the optimal number that they need to be in that school.
Right. I have to ask, do the kids know that this is happening?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Like, did they know
some
up
of them
front, or was it just their parents who were like, we're going to do this so you can get
the
a
ones
school?
that were photoshopped, so I would say Lori Laughlin's daughters, they pretended to be crew. Yeah. So obviously they were complicit in it. Yeah. But I actually found an interesting article where Julia Roberts spoke out, and she said the biggest shame of it was that these are parents that they're showing a lack of faith in their children. So it's not just that they did this, but you're saying you can't do it on your own. Right.
Well, there's also no shame. I feel like, not everyone performs excellently on a standardized test. I know that when I took my SAT, I took it 6 or 7 times. Not because of the English or the writing portion. Like, I got a near perfect score on that one. But the math, the damn fucking math. I got 420 every fucking time on that on that SAT. I took it 6 or 7 times. I had tutors. I had everything. And at that time, to get into, like, most Florida universities, I think you needed, like, a 431 or, like, I was, like, a couple points off. But I took it 6 or 7 times and I got that damn 420 every freaking fucking time. And, but that doesn't mean I'm not an intelligent
person. What's the perfect score again? Like 1600 or something like that? Or
it's 2400.
Well, they take it
to 1600 again.
Oh, but those are like the individual scores. So like you get individually scored for each section or whatever. And at the time, I don't know if it's still like this, but to get accepted into a university, at least a Florida university, they would accumulate your best scores from each section exactly. But I got that damn 420 every freaking time. And I don't know where my point was this with. But anyway, but like, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not an intelligent person or that, like if they have to go, like my cousin is incredibly smart. She has, multiple college degrees, certificates, master's degrees, all this stuff. But she started at a community college because she is horrific at standardized testing, at all kinds of standardized testing.
It's also the maturity level. So it's okay.
No, but she's an incredibly mature person. I mean, me and her are very similar. It's just the fact that she cannot perform on a standardized test. So she started at a community, but there's no shame in that either. If you need to start at a community college and then move on to a university or higher education, who cares where you freaking started?
Different ways of learning, and I feel like a lot of people. There's like, for example, I'm a kinesthetic learner.
Right.
Really, not a lot of things out there for me. I felt like, especially growing up, for kinesthetic learners, it was just like, read this. You don't understand why. Read it again, and it was like, okay.
Sorry, Michelle. What is a kinesthetic learner?
Well,
hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on.
Okay.
Tactile,
Okay.
Okay, I've never heard that term, so for me, it's like, what? I also think, like, there's a lot of people, especially just living in such a materialistic city, that everyone thinks that, like, money can buy anything.
Oh, yeah. Or anyone, really.
So everyone's like, what's your price? And I think it's really sad to know that education and getting into a particular kind of education has a price. And makes me kind of sad. You know what I mean?
And I think any university learning or any like school learning or anything that you pursue, I mean, I feel like you can get a good education in most places that you go to, and then eventually once you finish that, even if it wasn't great, you can move on. If you do well, you can move on to bigger. I think it's stupid to put this like elitism and prestige on like, oh, you know, oh, you didn't go straight, like at least here in South Florida, oh, you didn't go straight into a university, you went into a community college, or you did this or whatever. It's like, no,
Well, I feel like that's become more accepted, where people are like, wow,
I guess,
you know, like, I think in the past couple of years I've noticed, even like my nephew was 22 and he was telling me, he's like, I want to go to Miami-Dade, get all of my prerequisites.
Pay less.
now,
Pay less.
Duh.
and then
Exactly.
go
It was
to it.
a-
And I remember
Well,
being
that's
like,
good,
wow,
yeah.
that's amazing. And like for him to think of that now, like when I was at the time, like all I
Well,
told my
because
parents,
college costs so much.
My-
It's like
I-
the amount
all
that
I
you're
told my
paying.
parents was I was not going to go to school in Florida.
Mhm.
I applied to every school that wasn't in Florida, and that like mind boggled my family. They were like, "Why would you not apply?" And I was like, "Because I was born and raised here, and I don't want to live here forever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a generalization of just a city, and where
Right.
I could just like open up my horizon to other places and like really know who I am."
Mhm.
When I came back, my mom was like, "Are you the pioneer woman? Like you make your own you make your own granola bars, you have your like garden." And I was like, "Yeah," because I learned other stuff that
Yeah.
wasn't
Can I
just
have
like.
some of those granola bars?
Ooh,
That sounds really good.
I will
Well,
love
what
to
about
bring
like
in
out of
granola
state
bars.
tuition? That's just what I was thinking
Yeah.
about for
Oh.
my parents and my
That's
family. Like, out of
outrageous.
state tuition is pretty significant
3 times.
compared to like
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
After a year,
living.
you could become a resident of the area, and it goes down significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, you still have to have the funds to fund that first year, you know?
Yeah.
And feel comfortable, and it's already like a hard time to go through. So obviously a pretty interesting thing to talk about. Very heavy,
Absolutely.
sorry, while we're
Yeah,
having
yeah.
beer, but it's okay. We're all about talking about different things. So Michelada, you're up next. What
Oh,
beer do
yeah.
you have for us?
Sweet. So I have Coffee Run. They're from Seven Sun from Dunedin, Florida. So we're gonna have a milk stout. I know it's like second to last, but even then I like to end it on kind of like the darker, sweeter note. 5.5%. So I love Seven Sun.
Me too.
I'm a huge like
Same.
Goza fan, and that was like one of the first beers I had from them. And I remember just being like, "What is this?" I actually went to Cycle just because they had a collaboration with Seven Sun, and I remember like driving over, and I was like, "I can't wait to try this beer." And it was like 2 hours away. Like, I can't wait to try this beer. Like, all the motivation to go there.
Have you gone to the
Um,
new tap room?
No, I have not.
Oh, it is so nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
I'm
so
jelly.
well. You know, their previous. I'm sorry to cut you off, but their
No.
previous location was like tiny. You know, little hole in the wall,
Mhm.
no
Yes.
space. Now they have this huge space, and it's really cool. They have these like their flights are really cool. They're like these
Yeah.
cascading like thing. It's very, it's
Yeah,
really
it's like
cool.
real
Yeah,
cute,
it's nice.
like these glasses.
Yeah,
Like a stemmed.
Yeah, like a
wine.
stemmed wine glass.
I like that sound.
I do.
Needs more beer.
anyway, you can continue with your beer description.
Why, thank you.
Oh, that's it. I figured.
Oh,
we
that's
were
it.
just gonna drink it. I figure it out right
So
now.
now we're gonna drink the beer.
You know what I had
that
at
we were
Seven
talking
Sun once? It was kind of like a pink in color, like a raspberry in color, and then it smelled like coffee, but it didn't taste like coffee. It tasted sour and tart and raspberry and fruity, and there was no bitterness from the coffee. It was just as the like the smell. Almost like as if they had dry hopped it with coffee beans. And I hope someone listens to this show and tells me exactly what beer that is so I can
Yeah,
go
please.
get it.
You know what that sounds like? When I went to Southern Grist,
Mm.
they had a deal with their local coffee house, and it was like when they served it on their little Tennessee like flight, which is beautiful looking. It was this gorgeous red color, and it was like kind of like a mind trick because when you would drink it, it tasted like coffee, but it looked like it was supposed to be a Berliner.
I love when that happens.
And that was
Interesting.
and it was phenomenal. But shout out Southern Cruz.
I
You
just
guys are
think
awesome.
I think that beers are becoming so complex like that. Like now you're going to look at something and you can't just tell. Like I'm sure this dark body may not resemble what we're thinking, which is like dark malts, like chocolate.
Have you ever had
coffee.
Master Disguise?
No.
Yes.
So it's a blonde imperial style, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like you smell it. Like if you again going back, close your eyes and you smell it, and you're like, this is a stout, and you look at it, and it's like this looks like a
Is it out of
lager.
Colorado?
Man, who makes Master Disguise?
The
Internet.
Google machine.
Yeah.
I had a
Power
blonde.
of
I think of the
Technology.
movie, and I think of like turtle, and then I think of obviously that.
Yeah, the
I
master.
had a blonde stout in Colorado, and it was disturbing because you're looking, you're like, this is a stout,
Yeah.
and it's really blonde. And
White
you
stouts,
drink
yeah.
it, and you're like, oh, this is a stout. Like,
This
Lights out.
is like what's it called? Cold press.
Yeah,
coffee?
is it Stone?
I think it's Stone
Yeah,
Brewing.
okay, yes,
Ready,
Stone makes
guys?
Memphis.
Oh yes, cheers! You're gonna
Cheers! With the fastest internet.
Fast people doing thumbs.
No, it's like a cold brew. Just
Yeah.
you said Danette. Yeah.
I said cold press because that's olive oil, but I meant cold brew.
I got you, girl.
What do you mean you meant?
It is like a cold brew.
It's exactly like a cold brew. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly. It reminds me. There's another brewery in California. What was it called? The cold press. Not cold press, cold brew. Okay, so
Was it a cold brew beer?
no, from your friend that has the brewery, not Harbor. King Harbor. See, I was correct. King Harbor. They're making their own cold press with like this special coffee that he cold brew. Why do I keep calling it cold press? Jesus. And he was doing like different varieties of, I was gonna say cold press again, of cold brew, and it had like this orangey aftertaste. This doesn't have the orangey, but like but it has the same like sort of similar
Make your
flavor
shirt that
to
says,
the King
"I like
Harbor.
cold press."
Yeah.
I pretty light bodied, right?
It is
And
really
I
light-bodied.
do get a lot of coffee on the back.
Yeah.
So I love using. Okay, so we're always like using certain words like crushable. I've actually been using the word crushable and / shotgunnable. I would definitely say this is
Ooh.
very
Shotgunnable.
This
Shotgunnable.
is definitely a shotgunnable.
Wait a minute. That big ass can?
Oh hell yeah!
It's shotgun.
The whole
Bad
big ass
boy.
can?
I-
Literally a big
Literally
ass.
a big ass can.
Fernandez fuel,
Yeah, shout out to
big ass
Mendez, big ass
can.
can. For
All
sure.
They're awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like shotgunning has been a really big
That's
part of like the
hilarious.
craft beer community in the past couple years. Like, and I think, you know, again, shout out to even Box Elder for that
Absolutely.
specifically.
Friday.
But I definitely, I feel like, I think that's, we've always used like words like, you know, it's crushable. It's like, you know, it's super, it's sessionable, all these things. And I'm definitely using the word shotgunnable a lot of times because it's like, it's not necessarily that it's like you have to drink it fast. But it's such an easy drinking beer that it goes down smoothly.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people like always think that dark beer is not shotgunnable, and they're totally wrong.
No,
You know what I
misconception.
mean?
People think when I
Especially
worked at World of
coffee
Beer.
can. It's
Yes.
imperial double barrel stouts that maybe you can't.
I mean,
but honestly-
I've definitely shotgunned a barrel aged 1050, hands down.
Well, congrats to you.
But I think the lumberjack. I could have easily.
Yeah.
There is not a beer that we
Shotgun.
haven't
No,
had
thank
so
you.
far that I don't think I could shotgun.
You don't always want to, but
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah, Michelle made me shotgun a moohoo.
I don't want to
Yes.
shotgun
Thanks for
things.
that.
It was so good.
By the way, Danette's husband Tony is like literally the worst.
The worst
shotgunner.
chugger.
Oh,
He's actually worse than
Shotgunner,
Jose.
chugger, like
Yes,
it's
yes.
embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for him.
it's okay. My
Why?
roommate cannot shotgun, but she still holds it, and she will literally
she's
like.
tiny
But it's so
at
cute because
least,
she'll be like,
I'm
"It's
trying.
okay. I'm finishing it.
I'm getting to
She's
it.
like,
Yeah.
I'm finishing exactly. And I'm
Well,
I
like,
have
really?
very
the
funny
fact that-
videos of it too. by
And like
the
the
way.
fact that you're actually still going for it makes me love
Well,
you even
absolutely,
more, because,
yeah.
like nothing's like worse. And I was laughing because so we did an event. So we did a Galentine's Day event at Exit One Tap
Yes, I
Room.
saw it. It was very
Mhm.
nice.
And it was extremely successful. We did like a women's like pinata, like so.
Oh,
not that
cute.
there was a lady pinata, but it was
Donut.
like it was a donut.
Donut.
We filled it with candy.
I was thinking something
I was
completely
thinking-
different.
We did a pinata. So
we don't need
yeah.
that.
A
We don't- we
vagine
don't-
pinata.
We were
Okay.
like, we're gonna fill this up
Oh,
with
I
like,
thought I was thinking vagina.
Yeah.
You were thinking something else.
No,
That's what I was thinking
we
too.
were also
Amanda is making
in the
some
planning.
movements over
We were
here.
like condoms, lube.
yeah, we're like we're gonna fill it with
Like
condoms,
extra.
and then we started like doing like the research, and we're like, do we really want to like give people like cheap ass condoms?
Yeah.
Like definitely,
No.
you know what I mean? Like
They're
that's
gonna end up
not
in
what
the
we're here to
We're gonna go
do.
with funded.
So we're like, yeah,
Nice.
so we were like
Oh my
fun
God,
dip,
Fun Dip
Reese's
is the
Pieces,
best thing
Twix,
ever.
like all the
We
candy,
just did
and we actually
candies.
saw like grown adults like lunch for candy, and I was like, I fucking love this place. But like, so we did this
You
like
can
pinata.
totally
You
get
know,
me with Fun
And
Dip.
then we did like a
I'll bring you
ladies
some I have.
only shotgun.
Nice.
And the whole entire place went outside. I mean,
Oh, that's
men,
awesome.
bartenders, everything included, just
At
to like
least 15
watch
ladies.
everyone
Yeah.
shotgun, and it was awesome. But I was laughing because like, so the video was taken, and our friend Bianca, who's amazing, who works
I
at
love
Tripping
Bianca.
recently.
Me too.
I mean now, so like. In the video, like I even told her, I'm like, God, B, like, why do you look so angry? And she's like, did you not see that girl throw the can down with beer still in it? And I was like, yes. I was like, yes. I was like,
What's
I
up,
love you
Bianca?
for
She's for sure listening. Like,
Yeah.
damn, Michelle.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was
She
like, I
tapped
agree
out.
with you. But I mean, I'm not to like toot my own horn. I was definitely the first person to throw my can down, but I was just like immediately like, if you do not like throw your can down like magically and be like, this is me, like then did you really even shotgun?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Did you
I
even
agree.
shotgun if you did not throw your can?
We
With like
had
glory.
I want to say 10-woman shotgun at Free the Whales.
Yes,
And then we did
awesome.
can kicks, which was awesome too. So
Wait,
I have the video.
that
It was
is
in slow motion.
the best.
So you see like the different girls kicking up. You were not there.
I was not
Yeah.
there.
You were not there, but you
I
would
went
have
to
been
Free the Whale.
amazing.
I went to Free the Whale.
Not this year.
Yes, I did.
Then I don't know why you weren't in our.
Were you at
No,
Juicy?
you were there. You were in it.
No,
Juicy was a different one, no?
no, I
No,
think I was
I
out of
wanted
town.
to Juicy, but it was my birthday. Nobody wanted to do it. I know.
We were there.
Baby,
We were there in spirit somehow.
the baby, takes my beer chill away, but it's okay.
That is so
I'm still clearly,
Shotguns,
I'm
beer
still
pulls,
clearly
baby.
killing it in the beer world.
Yeah,
Of course.
That you
Cheers.
are, month-old.
Hell yeah.
Cheers to that.
I like that.
Podcasting, drinking on a Tuesday, going
Oh,
out.
Sonia.
On a Tuesday.
Responsible parenting.
Daddy is taking care of
Daddy-
the
I know, I'm
baby.
Daddy's
just
got the
kidding.
baby
Like,
covered.
What?
I know, I'm just kidding.
I got
I
a
know.
daddy. So, I mean, I do have a dad also.
There's
I
a
have
difference
baby
between
daddy.
dad.
I'm
But
a
he's your
baby daddy.
special
Okay, okay.
daddy. Okay, may I ask, what do you think about that statement?
Oh.
That daddy statement.
Oh, I hate it.
For or
daddy.
against it? That's all I have to say.
No, I'm
no.
against it.
When I
That's
heard my
it?
my dad's ex-wife be like, "Oh, Boppy," and I was like, I looked at her and I was like,
Mm.
"That's what I
I
call
call my
him."
dad.
Poppy? Wait,
And she was like, "Yeah, but he's my Boppy." And I was like,
No,
"No,
but
no,
Poppy and
he's
Daddy.
my
Poppy and
Boppy."
Daddy.
I was like, I don't understand. Can we,
I
like,
can't-
can we
I can't
go
even
right?
call-
I have to
I
ask.
have the best story, and Jose just reminded me. So my husband is Cuban American. Somewhere in like the first month or two that we were together, he called me mommy in bed.
Oh.
MAMI.
Okay.
And I think I might have hit him. I'm telling you, I made it very clear. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
I never had that happen before.
Did he say
because
I before? Did he go I mommy or did you just say mommy?
I don't know.
Why
I
not?
honestly
Mommy,
tried
make
to-
me a sandwich.
I don't-
Is that what it was?
No,
Was it that was like?
exactly.
No.
I think it was more like,
It was
I'm like,
in,
at least
yeah,
yeah, like the
we were
I
in
mommy.
bed, and I was just like, I had this rule. I never was gonna date or marry
I
some
kinda don't
Cuban.
like
It
mommy.
didn't work.
So
But I
I
was
know.
just like, what is this? And I have a poppy. That's my dad. My dad's poppy.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
but
I don't call
My
my
dad's
dad
daddy.
that.
I call my dad.
You don't
Poppy.
call your
my
dad
mom
Poppy?
is
No,
mom, but
I've-
my dad is Spanish.
I've-
Mom is
Poppy.
mom, my dad is
I've
daddy.
never called them.
No.
I've never said that either. I call my dad
Dad.
dad sometimes, but mostly I call him by his first name. I call him Albert because his name is Albert, but I call him Albert.
No.
Daddy.
My daddy is
No.
Poppy and my mom is mom.
How was
No,
I
but,
your
M-O-M-M-Y.
bridesmaid and I don't know this
Dude, I blocked
story?
that.
Yeah.
That was just Jose literally reminded me. He's like, "Remember that time that I called you mommy?" And I was like,
Why would you bring that up?
No,
Now
I.
I think it's funny, but that's what he grew up thinking
You're
was
not
acceptable.
seeing his
course.
expression right
Yeah,
now.
he's
And I'm
not.
and
I
I have to
understand.
see it. He's going,
Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
I just think it's I don't know. To me, it sounds wrong, but maybe not. I mean, if you're into that,
You know,
To
but
each his
I
own.
love it.
To each his own,
I
yeah.
love that
To each his
my
own.
son has a grandma and grandpa, and he has an abuela and abuelo. Actually, two sets of them, and then he has like mommy and Jose can. If Jose wants to be Poppy, he can be Poppy. But like I'm mommy, MOMMY, or mother,
Okay.
like mom.
That's what I've always
So,
called my
you know.
mom.
mother. Oh, mother.
Oh, that's the 13-year-old.
Mother dearest.
Hello,
Yes,
mother.
Yeah.
I did that. Okay, mom, mother. Like my mom's like, oh.
Oh, I call my mom
My mom's
Mumsy.
like
Mumsy.
mother.
Yeah.
I like
Question.
Mumsy.
Mother dearest was my mom's least favorite thing,
How
and
did
I was
it-
like, "You can't tell me you don't like something because immediately I'm
How
like,
what?
pick,
You know, she's like an Anglophile, and she has to
I'm
be.
not
a
an
different-
Anglophile.
we get on this tangent about
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know,
That was
but
weird.
I don't dislike it.
It is funny. We live in a very interesting city where these things occur.
Yeah,
It's not
for sure.
happening in Cleveland often.
Oh no, I did not. I definitely, when I first moved there, I got a lot of say something sexy to me in Spanish, and people quickly like realized that I
It's
only
so
talked about
sexy.
your parents. I was like, oh, say something sexy in Spanish. I would like immediately was like say the worst thing I could possibly think about your parents,
Oh, that
and I
is
would,
awesome.
and
I
they
love
would be
it.
like, oh, that's so sexy.
Like,
I'm like,
coño
yeah,
tu
I know your
madre.
mom
Little do
agrees.
you know.
El coño tu madre.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now we come to the ever so popular "What burns your bacon?" So, ladies, who has a burning bacon story?
So I've got one.
Do
I've
it.
been
Burn
kind
that
of
bacon, baby.
couple things that burn my bacon. I would definitely say this morning in particular, I was on my way to work and it was a lovely, not sunny day in sunny South Florida. It was like a hurricane outside.
Oh, God.
And you drive by these people's houses who have their fucking sprinklers on while it's raining.
Wow. What?
Like, do you give a shit? No, clearly you don't.
No.
So
They have a time-
that burns my
they have a
bacon.
timer and
That-
they did not put
I
the
know,
fork.
exactly,
To be
exactly.
fair, I have a well.
Okay.
My water,
Well-
we have
amazing.
well water, so our
Hello,
sprinklers
Virginia
well water.
Gardens.
Okay.
Miami Springs.
Miami Springs. There it is.
Yeah. Miami Springs.
Okay.
Really?
Across the street is Virginia Gardens.
Oh, okay.
I am Springs.
Okay.
Springs all the way. But yes, but even then, why would
I
you
know
wanna
there's
waste
timers and
electricity?
whatnot,
But
but
you're right.
you can, just consciously be like, okay, it's raining outside. Maybe I should turn the sprinklers off. So that burns my bacon.
That is yes, that does feel very wanton.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one, and it's
okay.
actually one that actually happened yesterday. So my roommate, I'm just gonna tell you, Emily, she's amazing. So Emily actually is Emily is a beer scientist. She works at Nightlife.
Ooh.
She is
Emily, I love you.
amazing. And she's really, really big into she was really big into CrossFit for a really long time, and she only wears gym clothes. I have to say, okay, she does not only wear gym clothes, but she does wear a lot of gym clothes, and she looks fantastic in it. She wore this just a regular. It kind of looked like a sports bra, but it was a little bit longer, and it had straps, and looked really cute. And she had these matching leggings, and I looked at her, and I was like, and she was gonna put a shirt on. I was like, no, you look so cute. You look adorable. I love it. Please wear that. And I live in Coconut Grove, so we're walking to the U-Fit. It's only a walking distance away. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna walk there. Well, she got honked at twice, and one guy was like, "You have a sexy body!" That's literally what he yelled. And immediately, I felt so bad because the beginning of our walk, she was just so confident, happy that her roommate was like, "You look awesome," and immediately was walking outside and was like, I get these compliments, I get these honks and whatever, and it doesn't feel like I'm awesome. It feels like someone threw garbage on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, it sucks when you want to feel confident, you want to feel good, but at the same time, you go outside and you're like, oh God, why can't you just treat me like a person? Or what is the appropriate time to give someone a compliment without being creepy or without being gross or without being slimy,
I mean, I definitely don't think that when you're walking down the street that you need people yelling things at you. I don't think that
or
makes
honking
anyone,
at you.
and I don't think people really understand how uncomfortable that makes you feel. It almost makes you feel unsafe sometimes.
Yeah.
You're
And what a honk is actually used for, it's to alert
It
the
scares
people,
you.
other drivers,
Exactly.
not random pedestrians.
Maybe the
Right.
person said, "Wow, I admire your fitness."
Yeah.
There is a way to actually.
well, they're not going to yell that from
Yeah,
a car.
no.
Hey, I admire your fitness.
But I'm saying you could do that.
You have great determination.
Yeah.
No,
That
I
is
mean,
the
you look.
non-creepy thing because are you
Well-
noticing the person looks fine or you're noticing the person looks fit and
Oh,
happy?
this happened to me not too long ago. I was in Wynwood for a baby shower, and I was outside a restaurant, and I was getting something from my trunk, and some guy stopped the car. He didn't honk or anything. He just rolled down the window, and then he actually said something nice. He was like, "I just wanted to tell you because I think you need to know that you are looking really good today." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." But really, if you think
That's
about
so
it,
creepy.
if someone stops a car next to you, what is your instinct reaction? This person's gonna kidnap
Literally.
me.
Yeah.
Your instinct shouldn't be "Oh yes, let me flip my hair. Oh, thank you." The compliment, if that's aggressive, for someone to just peel a car into next to you and roll down a window, that you put your defenses up for that to happen,
How many men have you ever done that to?
None.
Zero.
I've never
Never.
stopped a car. Now, I will actually tell a woman if she's walking past me, I'll say, "I love your outfit."
Oh yeah.
Right.
But I'm not stepping on the
I
brakes,
never-
and I'm not.
You
it's
have an amazing
threatening.
body. Why would I ever say that like that? You know what I mean?
Even
oh my
to a
God.
guy. No, yeah.
Hey, whatever workout you're doing, whatever diet you have, you're crushing it. That sounds so much there's so many other approachable
Right,
things other
yeah.
than just God, your body.
I just think of simple. You look great.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
You look
Good night.
fantastic.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
The
It
exact-
goes a long way.
I'm
The
with
exact
Sonia.
scenario that you just described happened to me the other day.
Really.
Almost verbatim. I was walking to my car. I get in my car, and this guy's telling me to put the window down, right?
Ooh.
and I put my window down.
That is reserved for like there's something
Okay.
wrong with your tire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Gas tank
And even
is
then,
open.
you're
Yeah,
scared
like
to
that.
like do that now because you're like, oh, what is this
So he
person
told me
gonna do?
Put the window down. Yeah, but the thing was, what I got insulted at is not what you think I got insulted at.
Oh.
So then he was like, "Can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm looking at him going, "Do I know him from high school or something?" Right? Immediately that's what I think. Right? He goes, "You look amazing," and I was like, "Thank you." And then this is the part I got
Rolls up
offended
with
by. He
uh-oh.
goes, "Teresa," and I was like, and I look and I go, "No," and I just press like my window to go back up again. I didn't care about getting hit on. It was not a bad hit on. But then I'm driving home and going,
No.
Teresa, do I look like a Teresa?
Oh my
Do I
God.
look
Why
like
are you
what
offended by
Okay.
Teresa?
If you watch South Park, this would be absolutely hilarious because that's like Teresa. Like, it's definitely a big part of that. Like 100%. Like that's an
I do
episode
watch
and
South
it's
Park.
amazing.
I do watch South Park.
I will send it to you.
It was weird, but you're describing it. I'm going, oh, that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really funny about compliments anyway. So
You're
I mean,
fabulous.
maybe stop.
And that is fabulous.
Like individually, like I don't like compliments in general. Like I find them very uncomfortable. But like that kind of catcalling is, I think me and Tony were having this discussion the other day or yesterday actually, because I was reading an Instagram post about someone. It became a very dangerous situation. She was let off. Her and her sister were led off to an alleyway, like where two men were waiting, and they thought it was going to be maybe a sex trafficking. They ran away and they got away from the guy, and it was a really harrowing story. But they talked about like that kind of like feeling that they felt like they couldn't say no, like if they were like hitting on them or talking to them, they had to like laugh politely and be like, oh no, thank you, or like whatever. And I was talking to Tony and I was like, yeah, I used to do that in like when in my early 20s and stuff, when we go out to bars, and I would be polite and whatever. And it got to a point where I was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And I don't mean it in a mean way. I'm just like, oh no, I'm not interested. But if you keep bothering me, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. And I don't care if you think I'm a bitch or not. And it was so sweet. He came up to me. He's like, I love you. I love that you're confident. I was like, oh, the very little men would say that, that you're telling guys to fuck off. And they're like, oh, I love that about you.
The last time
But
someone
it's
told me
true.
to put my window down like that was because I parallel parked extremely well because I don't.
Well, see, I like that compliment.
Parallel park, but it
Yes.
it didn't feel as nice because the guy was like, and I was like, oh, and he was like, and like what was in Spanish, but he was just like, thank you for knowing how to parallel park, and I was just like.
That's not condescending.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I was like, you took a compliment, which should have been
Right.
a compliment, like, wow, you did a fantastic job, and they took it to like, thank you for representing like a lady to do a good job at parking, and I was like,
Oh, eye roll.
excuse me, yeah, like my face was like, I like immediately like slow.
Yeah. But another burns my bacon, which is not my burns my bacon, but it's also another thing that me and my previous boss used to talk about a lot because we worked in customer service for a long time. It's like when someone tells you, oh, you should smile. That to me.
Oh, done.
Why?
There was a street artist that did
Yes.
Oh
that
my
did
God.
a whole series on it was just like different women with just straight faces
Uh-huh.
in different subways in New York, and it was pictures on each subway as an installation of. It's called Smile, and it
Oh,
was based
nice.
off the fact that men tell women all the time to smile.
Yeah.
It's a common thing.
And yeah, I'm the type of person, like, if you tell me that, I won't smile. And then if you continue, like, I will literally tell you because that to me is like one of the most annoying things. And I know I can have resting bitch face, but that's fine. But I'm allowed to. So you can,
Yeah.
I know I can have resting bitch face, but I'm allowed to have it. So and you don't have to tell me like what my
It's
face needs to look
Yeah,
like.
excuse me. It's my face.
But yeah, anyway.
We could have a whole entire.
Yeah, I know.
Like, thinking about all the
It should
funny
be called
things
Smile
that-
Less.
Yeah.
Smile less,
that
yes.
I was told as I was transitioning
Talk
to
less.
a serious relationship, so it was very funny. So
Good story, Sonia.
Very good. And I was really thinking one of my burns or bacon is for someone who has been drinking, who's been fairly active, I feel in the beer industry
Mhm.
for several a decade.
Sonia knows everybody.
I don't know everybody. I don't.
Yes, she does.
I don't really, but
If you need something, call Sonia
I
at
hate
Beer Dolfan.
walking
1-800 Sonia.
into a brewery that has a specific reputation and they treat you like crap because they think that you don't know beer. I personally
Amen.
love going into a brewery where it is warm and welcoming, where people just assume the best about you.
Or if you talk about beer and then they look surprised. I'm like, when did beer
Yeah.
become exclusive?
All the
But
time.
yeah.
And unfortunately, ladies always get that.
Yes.
Yep.
That's right.
You know, it's like it sucks because I just did recently a tasting at Mendez, and I was getting frustrated because a lot of ladies were just like, no, wine, and I was like if I'm supposed to be like, oh, of course, it's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm a lady. I'm a lady talking to another lady, telling you to try beer.
Right.
You like wine, but you don't know what my beer tastes like. Again, there's
Yeah.
always a beer for somebody.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
don't just like put me in a corner and say I only
Yeah.
drink wine.
Nobody puts baby in a
Yeah,
corner.
no.
Nobody in the corner. So that's
Yeah.
totally a burn bacon. It doesn't happen a ton, but when it does, I'm just like, you're
It's
missing
definitely
out
annoying,
because,
yeah.
What am I still wore like a placard thing? I have drank like 1,000 beers.
I
Like
agree.
I don't get.
Yeah.
You should just have like an iPad
I'm
with
a
your
yogurt
untapped
beer.
like.
I don't really
I know.
But, like,
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's just
Neither do I. I gave
don't
up on
either.
mine a long
I
time
don't
ago.
either.
Me
I
neither.
can't because like I look at Tony and it just exhausts me to watch him untap before he even
No,
enjoys
you
the beer.
untap
I
with
agree.
Tony. I let Tony check in, and
I've
I
done
Yeah, but that's become
Oh my
exhaustive
God.
when
It
you've
is.
tried like
It's
20
work.
something beers at a
It's fun, I think.
festival. Exactly.
No.
I
And
gave up on
honestly,
Untapped.
like when I go to beer festivals like Wakefest and stuff like that, I'm so excited to be around people that I love and know. I honestly have to remind myself, okay, you paid money to go to a beer fest, so that's something that I always struggle with because whether people get wasted, I don't get wasted at Wakefest.
Cut to
because
Sonia standing in line. We're all standing in line for a beer at a festival. You turn around, Sonia has disappeared. And then you find her in a group of 20 people.
So it's like I have to remind
Always.
myself, okay, so you are here actually for the beer, but I just love the people. I've met so many amazing people from enjoying beer.
Yeah.
It's definitely a hobby that is given back. In that sense. So does anyone else have any burning bacon, sizzling bacon they would like to talk about?
My only burning bacon was school related since I'm, the only teacher at the table, but I'll tell it, it's very brief. I'm sure you guys have seen that meme before of the Dos Equis guy. And so he's standing there and goes, I don't always, it usually says drink beer, but mine I have up in my classroom. It says, I don't always ask for extra credit, but when I do, it's at the end of semester when I haven't done jack crap.
I love that.
That is burning my bacon this week because it's called, oh, you haven't done anything.
It's almost spring break, so of course that's what they want.
T minus 3 days, my friend, and I'm counting every second of it. But it's amazing. Can I bring you copy paper? You have a 18%. Oh,
Yeah.
but it'll work miracles.
What if
now.
they bring you material to sew something?
Today?
No, that's bribing.
What about washi tape?
How is that any better than the paying the admissions people to get into the university?
But I will tell you, I fixed an embarrassing hole in a pant today.
Oh,
I
And
sewed a sweatshirt that ripped open today, and a book bag that ripped open today.
what are these kids
You were
doing?
such
Are
a
they
kind
lazy?
soul.
You are.
Yeah, he said his
I
shop
have-
will pay you in beer.
I know, that's fine. Leggings for all. I'm telling you, like I had thread. I keep a little thing of thread because some kids will rip their pants in an embarrassing way, and they'll be like in tears and be like, "I know you're
Bless
so."
you, though.
How do you fix
Awesome.
the
I've been
embarrassing
there.
hole? You asked how.
They change into their PE shorts.
Oh,
say,
okay.
I've been there.
I was wondering. I was
used to
like, is this?
wear scrubs for work?
No, I do not sew
like
it onto
laminate.
the child.
Okay, good,
Not
okay.
Project Runway, no.
Skin.
You wear these pants
I
forever.
was personally, my cousin got married and her zipper broke, so she had to get sewn in.
Oh,
So
no.
she
happening
had
before.
this whole dream wedding. They got married in San Diego. At the last minute, her father, my uncle, said, "Hey, do you guys want to just forego this dream wedding and we'll give you the money for a house?" And they said, "Hell yes." And so they did the whole backyard wedding. So I arrive in San Diego
Wow.
and she's like, "Sonia, can you do my hair?" And I'm like, "Sure." I was like, "Wow, I've never been to a wedding where someone doesn't have that planned." And so I was
Also, Sonia is not one for makeup or hair application. I'm not.
no hair. I do.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I do
I
braid and do all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't mean that in a mean way.
I don't own enough brushes for Danette's making. I only have 5. That's apparently
Sonia-
not enough makeup brushes. I know Amanda's looking at
Sonia, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Wait,
Sonia.
Amanda, they're
Too
5
much
and they're
time in my day.
filthy.
Yeah,
You're not filthy.
I washed
use
all
them
my
twice
brushes.
a year. How can they be
Oh
filthy?
my goodness. I have at least 42 makeup brushes.
Oh, no, I don't have that many.
The spa day for the brushes, for everything.
Yeah.
You need a blending brush, you need a stippling brush. Sometimes you want to use,
I don't even know.
No, I don't have that
hair,
many.
watch
natural
YouTube
hair.
makeup tutorials with things that I already have. Like I have like an Anastasia.
I have them.
Yeah, amazing. I bought it because there was like lime green in it. I was like, I need it. I haven't used it.
I don't have all that stuff, but when I make an effort, I get compliments.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
For a birthday party,
Okay.
how many compliments did I get?
I'm not
Your
gonna
eyes
lie.
were amazing for my birthday.
I know it
were.
sounds
Call
awful.
me.
I had a
All
friend
right,
growing up
Sonia.
that like was hardcore, like the same makeup you saw every day was the makeup you would see when we'd go out. And I remember telling her all the time, I'm like, it kind of there's no surprise.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and she would always be like, man, like I'm dressed up and you're getting all the compliments. And I know it sounds catty, but it didn't mean to be like that.
Yeah.
It was just like, no, it just sucks.
Because
that,
she
like,
always looks the same.
I make it such an effort to look nice, and like you never make an effort.
That's
and
why
then
you
do
get
it
the
once and you
compliment.
get the most compliments, and I was like, well, because
People are not
that's
used
the
to it.
glory of it. Like,
Less is
I
more.
as much as I do sales and I love it, and I always feel like I have to be fresh face. I don't wear makeup. You know what I mean? And it's funny. It's when I go out with my friends that I just want to feel like that extra that I'll put makeup on. But it's not something that I want to do.
You have amazing skin.
I'm like,
Yeah.
presentations or girls'
Glowing.
night or date night.
Wish
but
you guys
Yeah.
could see this glowing.
Oh.
She has beautiful
Yeah,
Too much
skin.
makeup
It's-
makes you older sometimes.
This
If you're
is
not
very
a
true.
good taker-offer.
Yeah,
I'm lazy. I'll fall asleep with
Oh,
makeup,
I
so
used
I'm
to-
not
Why
great.
never?
Gas.
Why
I'm not the
Moisture.
right
Wipes?
person.
No,
You do
have
not-
to wash.
You
Okay,
have to
but
double
when
cleanse
you're
your
drunk,
face.
though,
What
let's
do you
be
mean,
honest.
wipies?
Have you
minute,
gotten
I'm not
home?
done.
Have you gotten home that
Wipes,
you're like
and then my
falling?
cellar.
Yes.
Wipes, then
Yes.
my cellar,
That's it?
and then and wash. That's
Oh
3
wow.
steps.
Okay.
Oh, that's too
I'm
many.
talking about
I'm
like
104.
drunk.
I look close.
Okay, we don't have to do like
I
here, like
passed it.
skincare
Go
tips.
home.
Well,
Take off your shoes,
Danny
clothes.
knows, and I will say this story
Even
because
that. I've fallen asleep with my clothes on.
Me too.
with my shoes on.
No.
Well, oh my God. Okay, so Danny knows this story.
No.
So
Oh,
Dan,
yeah.
so Danny knows this story because I've told her before. Because I remember waking up one day, like after, like it was my friend, actually not a friend, a coworker of mine is actually moving his position to Georgia, and we had like one. Because it's hilarious. But like we had one big night before he officially transitioned or whatever, and I was hammered, and I remember getting back to our hotel room, and like he went to his room and I went to my room, and I thought in my mind, because you know when you close your eyes and you're like, I took a shower, I got ready, I put makeup on, you wake up and you're like, shit, I'm still in bed.
Yeah.
It was like that moment where like I got to the hotel room, I took off my makeup, I took off my clothes, I did all the things, I went in bed. No, I literally got to the bed and I just like fell like a tree onto the bed. Shoes, Vans, high top Vans, still and all, like
Nice.
on. But I had red lipstick, and I was laughing. 'Cause, like how I woke up and I was like, "Oh my God, is there a murder?" Apparently, I just like put my face on this bed and just like
Smeared.
all over, and there was like a streak of just red.
And then
the red.
when you looked in the mirror, did you see the Joker?
Funny enough, no, because it was all on the bed. I took my whole entire lipstick off all over the bed.
Well,
and
no
I was
need
just
for
being like-
cleansing wipes. Just use your duvet.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on right here? But at the same time, I thought it was hilarious.
So as you're saying this, what I would find funny is that when I would be, that Jose would always take off what was convenient for him to take off of clothes. And I would wake up and I'd be like, why am I still wearing my bra and my top? I was like, like the waist down is off, but he will never take the bra off. The bra is the worst part of
I
your
know.
clothes.
Sonia, that sounds sketchy.
He's my husband. It's allowed.
Yeah.
Even when he wasn't, it's allowed because it's 2019.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's been fun. So Amanda, what did you bring us?
Okay, so I brought a Funky Buddha, the Love Below. This is an imperial stout aged in Cabernet and bourbon barrels with cherries, chocolate, and natural flavors added.
Ooh.
So I had this.
Open it for us, ladies.
Yes.
I know. That's what I
I
feel
love
like.
that album.
The Love
Sorry.
Below.
One of my favorites of all time.
Mm.
Pour this around.
You can't have more than 3 seconds because then it's copyright. So stop.
And we're done.
Big librarian Dave trained us well. Ooh, it does have a lovely head to it.
Yes, it does.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
Mm.
I swear
And
that-
a little bit of
Yeah.
Look
a
at the
cherry,
back. Look at the
Yeah,
cherry
for
coming
real.
through. boozy. Oh, I didn't say the percent, but it's 12%. Another
We have
booze-alicious.
quite a few high
Starting
percentages. Yeah. All right. So cheers again. We gotta do
Cheers,
it for the
ladies.
dollars.
Cheers.
As RuPaul say, the dollars.
Yes, queen.
Yas, queen.
Oh, it creeps over for more. This is quite a role reversal because when the guys are filming in our studio, the women, Amanda, Danette, and I, are generally like, "Sir, can you give us a beer, please?" And so now the tables are turned.
Tables
where
are
the
turned.
men are
Yeah,
coming and they're like,
just
"Where's
popping up.
our beer?"
Now they're in the living room watching Xanadu.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bring my brother's sleep out.
That is what Sonia and Danette put on for me the first time I ever came over here while they were recording a podcast.
The
They're like,
first
"You
time
guys
we
have
ever-
got to see this movie," and I'm like,
Poor Amanda. She was.
Beer and roller skating and Olivia Newton-John. Come on.
And then we made her watch Saturday Night Fever.
What is
No
We're
regrets.
trying to
No
do
regrets,
the
ladies.
education. I almost said edumacation. The edumacation of Amanda.
I will say
I appreciate it. It's greatly
I
appreciated.
spared her the VHS version of Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
She doesn't age.
I got the Blu-ray Amanda. I'll show
Along
you.
with everyone in Fleetwood Mac. I'm telling you.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Stevie
Enough
Nicks
said.
sold her soul to the
So
devil because
good.
that woman does not age.
J-Lo did as well.
J-Lo for
No,
sure.
no, but J-Lo has
That rock.
helpers.
So does
Stevie Nicks has
I
helpers.
don't think Stevie Nicks has as many helpers.
How do you know?
J-Lo.
No, J-Lo
You know
looks
about J-Lo?
fantastic.
She doesn't drink alcohol.
She doesn't go in the sun,
She sleeps 10 hours.
She doesn't do drugs.
She doesn't do drugs.
and she doesn't go in the sun.
She doesn't drink
She
or
doesn't
do
need to.
drugs.
She's cinnamon.
Yes.
So
You get through the stress
there's-
of
Not
life.
natural.
How did you get married to
And
Mark
she
Anthony?
works out. And she works out. So it's like
How
I
did
do
you-
one thing that she doesn't do. So
No, but she does look phenomenal
She looks
for
phenomenal.
50. But there's a lot of
Don't
actresses
be
that are
fooled by the
phenomenal
looks
for
that I
50
got.
right now.
That's true.
Did you guys just see the Aquaman movie?
No.
No, but
What,
that
Thor?
man is my future baby daddy.
Who? Jason Momoa.
I will say
Mama.
Wonder Woman was the best, I believe, of the DC. So
No, I like Doctor Strange.
I love Doctor
right,
Strange
okay.
because I'm a
I like it
cumber
as much.
bitch.
You didn't?
There I said it.
I'm a cumber
I
bitch,
said it.
so.
I'm like an X-Men lover.
Oh, me too.
Like I love
Yes.
X-Men 100%, and like, but I mean, I was never like a big like comics. Like I love graphic novels. Like I like
Yeah.
nerd out on illustrators. I'm like,
Right.
oh my god, did you see the ink that they used? That's
Right.
me.
Mhm.
But
The other-
like,
I'm buying the other Umbrella Academy series.
so I never saw the series. I just saw the Netflix thing.
Right.
And I didn't realize when someone told me there was like, so it's the
You
guy
haven't seen
from Panic at the Disco.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, Brandon Flowers.
No, wrong one.
Wait, no, not Panic.
Wrong
No.
no.
Who am I
My
thinking of?
Chemical Romance.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
He
sorry.
wrote
Other
the-
whiny band.
Right.
Sorry.
Other whiny band. He wrote the original,
one hit wonder.
which is published by Dark Horse, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
which are the same people that did the Sandman comic that I was obsessed with in college. But I went online because I was curious because they're already talking about new installations of it, and I already went through the first one. There's like 2 more. So I'm thinking of
All right, I need to get
getting
it.
the graphic novel, reading it before it comes out.
Of course.
Because I love reading the book before, you know.
As it should be.
But it's
Yeah.
spectacular. Like,
Oh, I can't wait.
everyone watch Umbrella Academy. It's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
it's great.
Please.
Anyway, so as I was saying, I went into Aquaman has always been my favorite. I'm a huge
Really?
swimmer. I love the water, pool, ocean. I feel
Not
more
because of Jason
comfortable.
though.
No, way before
Pre-Jason.
Pre-Jason.
Ooh.
When I would watch Justin Lee.
Also, Jose dressed up as Aquaman
For my birthday.
That's true. In
still like
Speedo. In Speedo.
Oh boy.
So that's why her favorite is
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Pixar didn't happen.
It was
Puts
great.
on
Pics
red
or
wig.
it didn't
She's
happen.
Like, this is the time.
There are
of my
pics.
life.
There are pictures of
I
him-
need to see
him
these
and
pictures.
Batman.
Yes, he did also Risky Business.
Yes,
or-
which is also
It's always Ellie's birthday party.
Of course,
Her
she has the
birthday
best
parties are
themes.
scandalous,
Are your
yes.
birthday in October?
September
She's a Libra,
29th.
yes.
So I'm a Libra. It
So,
explains.
Yes.
my husband gets less and less clothes. Actually, the most clothes was probably your Jules Verne.
Not my WWE
Jules Verne.
party.
No,
But he
Jules
gets-
Verne.
No, the steampunk.
Steampunk was the most
Oh, my
clothes he's worn in
yeah.
5 years at her party.
I was like,
Steampunk
we
party
say
is good.
least clothes. What are you talking about here?
Well,
because Risky Business,
of course.
tidy whities, and a shirt.
He
With
loves-
sunglasses. He looked
Socks.
great.
He looked great. Socks, yes, socks.
I was traumatized
Aquaman.
by Aquaman
And then he did Luce Libre last year.
Why were you traumatized?
Well, it was quite the
You
sight.
have no idea. Literally tiny
I mean,
white.
he's got great
And-
thighs,
and wait,
nobody wants to see
not-
his
not-
husband, like-
To just say this was the first time I met Jose
Oh my god!
at that party.
That's true. That was her,
That was my
that was her coming out.
that was
for us,
my
yeah.
I'm coming out.
I want the world to know.
Okay, 3 seconds. So yeah, that's how I was
It's available for
introduced
parties
into
and
to
Speedos.
Jose in this Aquaman Speedo Fantastica.
That's
So,
awesome.
I'm wearing like a Supergirl, like from.
Yeah, Sonia's cute.
You looked adorable.
I did look adorable.
I have the picture up in my house.
And then she's like, "This is my husband," like literally in a Speedo, and I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you."
You can't not look. I mean, he
It looked
looks-
like
he
adult
looks very good,
underoos,
but yes.
and I hope everyone gets that reference.
Yes.
It looked like adult underoos.
Because he had the Aquaman shirt on and just Speedos.
That's it. Nothing
Anyway.
else.
Anyway, I'm
Needless
sorry.
to say, I do think that Jason is very attractive.
Hot.
I
It's like a
figured
man's man.
because the Marvels have been better than the DCs, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to watch it. So I took it for face value. I thought, considering that for some reason DC can't seem to get their act together the way Marvel has, it was good. It wasn't as good as Wonder Woman, but it wasn't as bad as it could be. And I love Nicole Kidman. Anything that Nicole Kidman sent on, I'm going to believe in. So, and I don't think the acting wasn't a problem. I think they could have been given more credit to be serious. Like, I believe that Marvel has been given,
Marvel.
Marvel has been taking their, what am I saying?
Kid-
Marvel.
You said Marvel.
See, I know. I don't want to say anything.
Carvel.
I don't want to say anything. You guys need to see Captain Marvel.
Oops.
Was it a Carvel cake?
No spoilers. No spoilers. No
Just
spoilers.
Anyway, so yeah, so I didn't care. I went, I saw it by myself, and I was very happy. It was awesome.
Okay,
I'm
So
not gonna lie, I definitely want to see the movie by myself now. Now that we talked
You
about it. so much.
do it. It's like the one I saw the
And also
Pick a
because I
weird
don't
one.
remember the last time I saw a movie in a movie theater. So
But you
it's
have
like,
to go on a Saturday or Sunday morning
Yes.
or
Yeah.
early
wait, a
afternoon.
matinee or nothing?
Yeah,
Sorry,
exact-
like,
correct.
Like a nighttime.
I do not do evening
I don't wanna
showings.
I don't wanna, like-
But I've never had.
I don't want to
any
be in
kids.
line with all
It'll
the
be a
high
better
school kids that are
experience,
excited
yes.
to have their first kiss and or anything else.
Oh,
in the movie
no.
theater. I don't want to be a part of that.
Or okay, why do people purchase movie tickets? Go through all the hoopla, right? That you have to go to the movie theater, you have to put on pants. It's a whole ordeal.
Pants.
To not
Come
watch
on.
Yes, and then you go into the movie theater and you spend the entire time talking. What is the deal?
Well, okay, so
Sonia's like, I have a few things.
I grew up with a very, very conservative mom. Like I wasn't able to like go to do things without there being like a.
Well,
parent
I always had a
present.
chaperone. Yes.
I would
Literally.
Super
So-
chaperone.
So my
super
first dates was like me at a movie theater and my mom like 5 rows back.
Correct. I had the
Mhm.
same chaperone
Yep.
experience. Yes.
So it's like, I guess like when you think about it, you're like, oh man, like I remember like never telling my parents. Yes.
Helicopter parents.
Oh.
Oh.
We were all
was
thought
like,
Sonia was
yes.
going through
I was like,
something.
I have a helicopter mom.
I had
Yeah.
lackadaisical in a good way parents. So
I didn't have like seriously helicopter parents, but because like they
Helicopter
weren't
mom.
on top of me, especially my mom. My mom's pretty cool. My dad was always very strict, but I think it's just because they were chaperones, and the first when you're first generation,
did they say
like
"Que pasa,
American.
USA"? Did they see "Que pasa, USA"?
Of course they did, and I did too.
Oh my God, of
But like
course.
when you're first generation American, like your parents, all they know is like the very conservative, at least if you come from a conservative Hispanic family, like they're just doing what they knew.
Right.
And then now when they're older, like, oh, it's so stupid. We didn't stop you from doing
That's
anything.
what I
It's
agree
just-
with
As
because my
ladies
brother
specifically.
never had those.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister
rules,
too, yeah.
Or
I'm
you have
firstborn
to be
too,
home
yeah.
at this point, or whatever the case may be. He could do whatever he wanted because he was a boy, and it literally. My mom was like, "Yes, it is a double standard."
Oh, but I have
and I don't care.
I only have a sister, but my sister got all the freedoms. I got nilch because I'm the
You broke
first.
it. You broke it.
But I think
I'm
that's
youngest
standard
and
with
the
all
only
of
girl,
us.
Oh, no,
so
she
all the
ruined
odds
it
against
for
me.
you. She probably was already bad, so she like her mom was like, we have to tighten
No,
the reins
my
on this
sister
one.
was
Anthony, You're
good.
not bad. You're a good girl. And you have a chunky baby. And we love him.
No,
She does.
She's
Yes.
hilarious.
Davey's
That
great.
baby's delicious.
He is delicious.
Oh,
He really is.
gorgeous.
So yeah. So did we have anything? This is also another one of those. It doesn't smell boozy, but you can taste
Oh, yeah.
the ABV.
I'm
getting
you can
it.
feel it.
I can
This
feel
has
Yeah.
gotten us drunk in very many maple bacon days back in the day.
Like it. Oh, so I'm sad to say that we're concluding our evening
Our
of
time
fun.
here.
Not our time together, but our time on the podcast. So,
For now.
ladies, what has been your favorite beer tonight? Can we pick a favorite
Ooh.
beer?
I am
Well-
gonna have to go
It's gonna be
with
Dani's.
the exactly.
For
Oh,
sure.
really?
The upside down pineapple upside down cake.
Actually, you know what? It's between both of yours.
Yeah, I was gonna go with
Honestly,
my Jam the Radar.
So this is like I always describe things as breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mhm.
And this is very much breakfast.
Right,
And
yeah.
This falls in between wait, I said breakfast. Sorry, lunch. This falls between breakfast
Right.
and dinner.
I see. Okay.
So it could be breakfast.
Auto logic, breakfast and
Yeah,
dinner.
but also it could be dinner. And my thing is like, especially when I used to like train staff to sell beer, I would tell them all the time. I'm like, listen, you want to offer the dessert, but like, what if you just want another beer? And I'm 100% like, why would I rather eat a cake when I could just have an amazing dark beer and
Yes.
satisfy all my needs that cake would have given me, but I would have just like had that little bit of alcohol, but also that
Agreed.
like
Agreed.
everything I
Right.
wanted, and it's easier to consume. Just like it's just liquid. Come on.
Man, I kind of wish because I was in between this and another beer that they might open in another podcast. But it was Garage East, the Black Forest. Now, if you want to have liquefied cake, that is literally liquefied cake in a bottle. Yeah, maybe we'll just have to have another podcast, and I'll bring that on next time.
Still had that bead that I
You know,
designed
there is
open.
the Beer Bros BS podcast universe.
That's true.
You know, we'll see.
I think the jam one was
Ladies,
great. And
let us know if you're interested in partaking.
I think
with us.
am I the only person that one of my favorites was the one that I brought, the La Folie? I
The
thought-
La Folie was
I
great
thought- I
too.
thought
They
it
were
was
all
fantastic.
great.
I will say every beer has been
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
were all
everyone
great.
brought their game.
But
that
that
was
jam one was my jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
It's easy to bring a beer that falls flat, and I don't think this.
No.
Oh yeah.
would
Thank
have
you,
that.
Adam and Caitlin, for being so sweet and giving us that beer.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely brought some really good hitters, and it's great because like
Absolutely.
a lot of us like don't necessarily know each other very well,
Right.
but we were able to kind of gear like what we thought would be an awesome like
Right.
introduction of ourselves.
Wonderful.
And I think we did a really good job about it. It was
Very
awesome.
nice.
So, ladies, So we're gonna. It's probably April 1st when you hear us. So, what's going on in the beer world for you guys? For everyone, what are you looking forward to happening in the beer industry? What are you promoting? What are you attending?
Well, in April, Tony and I will be going to San Diego, so I'm sure we'll be bringing back stories and quite a lot of beer coming back with us.
Nice.
Awesome.
So that'll be exciting and fun stories to tell.
Last time I went to California, I came back with 35 bottles in my suitcase.
Oh my gosh.
Checked it in, totally fine, and everyone was like, "Did
It's
you
the same.
really do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I actually." So a friend of the person that we were staying with actually just recently bought like a new suitcase.
Oh, nice.
And we stole it. We're like, "This is our suitcase."
You know what's a really good
Yeah,
trick?
yeah. I was like, "This is ours." So
That Tony, no, what Tony bought, we have like these where you transport wine.
Oh,
So
yeah,
like there's
yeah.
wine
It's
bags
like,
with
you kinda
that have
like the
cotton
whole-
in them
Yes.
and whatever. So if you're looking to transport beer,
Yeah.
put it in there, and you know
They're
if it
fun.
explodes, it explodes in
I
that bag.
used my clothes. I was like,
Yeah.
wrapping up bottles. I was like, "That'll be fine."
When we brought a bunch of bottles home from Mexico, so we went across.
wow.
And so my mom.
Did you smuggle them? I feel like that's
No,
smuggling
we
at this
didn't
point.
smuggle them. No. My mom bought us a hard case from BJ's or Costco, and then what we did was we got shoe boxes, and so we put the bottles in
Oh,
there and
smart.
just put our clothing in there and went in the hard case, and so we were able
Beer
to
travel
bring-
hacks, beer bros,
Yeah.
not beer bros, beer babes,
We
and
did the
BS.
same thing for
Babes
Milwaukee.
and BS
Like
travel
we
hacks.
just literally you put some in boxes, you put some in. Anytime I bring beer, it's always going to be either in a box or in a shoebox with other clothes surrounding it because clothes can wash.
Protect
genius. Yeah,
the
yeah.
beer at
Protect
all
the beer.
costs.
Exactly. Yeah. What? Anything else? So, Dripping Animals 420. Sprung is coming
The
up.
Irie Jungle Man.
April 6th. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Sprung, yes.
That's
I
gonna be
have
great.
worked Sprung. It's quite
I
hot.
mainly just like look at Danii because like yesterday I was like April 4th, and she's like, "It's not the 4th. It's April 6th." All right, guys.
I live
Sprung,
by
it's
my
happening.
calendar.
I am excited that I will be in Disney World for May the 4th be with you.
Oh,
Yay!
Magic Kingdom for a 5-year-old's birthday. But that's
So is everyone
that's
going to the Star
That's
Wars
gonna be
opening?
class.
The Star Wars park.
Yes, that will be
That's
later
gonna
on.
be awesome.
Yes. What else do we have?
I
We
have not been to
uh,
Disney as an adult, and I'm not lying.
Oh
Yes,
my God.
exactly.
I go every year.
Your reaction is how I feel all the time.
Yes.
You
Now's
have to
the
do
time
at least
to
Food and
go.
Wine Festival. You have to do it.
Food and Wine is majestic.
It is
And
majestic.
guess what, guys?
You don't do Magic Kingdom. You do Epcot, and then
And
maybe
yes.
you do
I
Hollywood
mean, I
Studios.
want to
No, but
drink
you
around
have
the
to-
world.
Yeah.
I know it sounds awful. I know, like
I
mean,
mean,
I
I was
lasted.
divorced at our honeymoon going to Magic Kingdom, so I don't. You can go there when it's not busy because the children cry a lot. It's hot. It's
Yeah,
not a
but
pleasant
Epcot
place.
Food and Wine, I will tell you this, after
So
I had
much
the
fun.
experience of Food and Wine, I went online and I looked up all the recipes and I
Oh.
found them. And
Really?
the best one is that beer cheese soup in Canada.
Oh, that was so good.
And
oh, God,
I
yes.
went, like, I had gone with my family,
remember.
and my sister and I, for Thanksgiving together, we replicated it.
And how come you have not made this beer cheese
I know,
for
like,
us?
we're like,
I will make it
beer
for you
cheese
guys.
soup?
Thank
It
you.
came out so on point.
Ooh, like a fondue.
It's like a fondue almost, because it's very
Yeah, you made it for us.
No, I've made other stuff for you guys. I
But it
cook
was
a lot for you
before-
guys.
I feel like it was
It's
like a year
before your
before
time.
we met Danette. Yeah, I know.
She's like, I hate you guys.
Tony,
That was
Tony hit her. She was Mr. Girl.
that was BD
Mhm.
before
Before
Danette.
Yeah.
Life didn't exist before Danette.
So yeah. So everyone, if you have stayed with us this long, it's been quite an adventure. Hopefully,
It really has. I've
make
had such a good
sure
time.
that you are following Beer Bros and BS
Yes.
on Facebook, on Twitter,
On
on
Instagram.
on Untapped, email, the website.
Is it
now? I will
everywhere?
say the website is awesome because every beer that is on an episode is on
Yes.
there, so you can see what do the guys think about it. Maybe you're unsure about a beer. Go there. Don't pay attention on Untapped.
What's the email, Sonia?
beerbrosbs@gmail.com.
There you go.
Make sure to subscribe to the show on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn,
And?
Blueberry, Overcast, Kodi, Ubook, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Microsoft Podcast app, Digital Podcast, Listen Notes, Podbean, Podcast Blaster, Radio Public.
I don't think we need to say all of them, Sonia.
Go for it. Go,
need
Sonia.
to.
No, we do it.
Go.
Go
Google Play
do
Music,
it. Do it.
iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify.
Nice.
Thank you so much for listening to us. I am Sonia.
Danette.
Danii Dollars.
Ellie.
Michelle.
Amanda.
Thank you so much. We love you
Cheers,
all.
ladies.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Beer Bros and BS. Cheers.
Beer Bros.
Beer Bros.